Ladies and gentlemen, it feels like coming home. Kind of Funny's MCU in Review is back for the first time since Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it was a while ago.
And if you're an audio listener today, we're starting with Iron Man.
Yeah, we're starting from the beginning. No, ladies and gentlemen, we're doing Captain Marvel. I'm Tim Gettys. This is Andy Cortez. That is Kevin Cole. Nick Scarpino. We just finished ranking and reviewing all of the Fast and Furious movies. Before we started all of this is where it all began. This is where it all begins again. Kind of Funny's MCU in Review. Every single Marvel Cinematic Universe movie ranked and reviewed.
1 month till Endgame.
1 month till Endgame. This will return. This will return. Very exciting stuff. Let's just start it off right, baby. This is Kind of Funny's in Review series every Tuesday, 11 a.m. on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames. We do one of these things live. You can then later watch it on Rooster Teeth or on youtube.com/kindoffunny. If you want to be part of the show, you can go to patreon.com/kindoffunny, and bronze members are above. Gets it right there. Haiku and Review. We're going to continue that. People seem to be writing them in, and I'm liking them, so we're going to continue that throughout the different franchises we do. At the end of this episode, we will announce our next in Review franchise. It's a very exciting one. You guys have been asking for it. What else do I got to say? Patreon producer, David Mintel. You are the homie. Thank you very much for doing this. But now let's get into it. Captain Marvel, released on March 8th, 2019.
God, before 9/11.
What?
No.
9/11 this year.
Never
Yeah.
forget, dude.
Jesus, there's another one coming. Someone put him on a watch list.
This is the beginning of the end for us.
That's how you get him. That's how you get him.
Wow. Directed by Anna Boden and Ryan Fleck. Nick, are you familiar?
Neither of these people. I don't know
Is
who either of these
anyone
people are.
familiar?
No.
Is that the one that Gary Whitta went out to dinner with?
No, that was the writer.
That was a writer.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Sugar in 2008 they directed. It was their debut as a duo of directors. A director. I don't know.
No idea.
And then they made a movie called It's Kind of a Funny Story.
Nope.
In 2010.
No idea what that is either.
And then Mississippi Grind. In 2015. And then Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
They did 3 episodes of Billions.
Okay. I love
They did
Billions.
1 episode of 30 for 30
Okay.
called
awesome.
The Day the Series Stopped.
The power outage. Is it the power outage?
I thought it was the earthquake.
That's what it was.
Yeah. The San Francisco, the one here. You should watch it. It's great.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember this. You know what this reminds me of is when Kevin Feige talked. Like, I heard an interview with the Russo brothers, and they were talking about like when Kevin Feige originally approached them, and they were like, "We're just these weird, obscure directors that have done some
do
TV.
Community.
Yeah, we did Community. They've done some indie films, but that's what he liked about them was that they could potentially bring something a little bit different to the mix, and I think that's what you're seeing here as well.
Definitely. Budget of $152 million. Box office so far of $479 million. This is the 21st MCU movie, which is insane. Captain Marvel ranks as the second biggest launch for a superhero movie worldwide.
Really?
Behind Infinity War. So
Wow.
any
Holy
superhero
shit, that's
movie.
awesome.
It is the 6th best start for a movie of all time.
Whoa.
Any movie. Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy because it's only been 1 weekend.
Yeah.
And
It's,
those are some big numbers.
Tell you
Also,
what. You should. I'm sorry. Continue.
I was just gonna say 150 million. Is that low compared to
seems
the other?
low.
Yeah.
It seems in line with like the Ant-Man
Right,
level,
right, yeah.
level movies.
Each Dolby ticket's $7,000.
So
Yeah.
but if
why
you
we
get
get the A-list.
you save money,
you're
Andy.
right,
You
you're
save
right.
the money.
Save the money.
Something very, 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 very interesting to me that I found out is that this is the second highest grossing movie of 2019 so far. Do you guys have any guesses as what could have beat this so far? Because keep in mind, it's only first weekend, so we're dealing with first weekend compared to
Yeah.
the last couple months.
I can see the answer here. I can see it.
But
Do you know the
Well,
answer?
don't cheat.
I
He's
can hint it.
Oh,
I mean,
give me a
wait,
hint.
the second
I'm down to
highest
2.
opening?
Give me money and I'll hint
Isn't
it to you.
Aquaman the highest?
that was last year.
That was last year?
Yeah,
I think I know it.
that was December.
Yeah,
There's no way you know it, though.
Microtransaction, Andy Cortez.
it's the initials are TWE.
I'm just gonna go in and tell you guys that number 5 is a movie called Pegasus.
Pegasus.
Number six?
Never heard
Sorry,
of
number
it.
6. Number 5 is a movie called Crazy Alien. Number 4 is Alita Battle Angel.
Oh, cool.
Alita.
382.
She reminds me of an android.
You're the battle droid in the West Side Story.
Number 3, How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden Worlds.
Ooh.
God. Is
Number
that movie
2.
come out yet?
Yeah.
Number
Fucking
2,
cartoons.
You should watch it. It's
Captain
great.
Marvel.
I know what number 1 is.
And then number 1,
Let Bear tell us.
what is it?
Glass.
The Wandering Earth. Glass is like
what
number
the fuck
8.
is
Really?
the Wandering
Oh.
Earth?
The Wandering
seen
Earth.
trailers
Now,
for
now
this.
here's the thing.
Looks crazy.
Have you?
Yeah. I've actually almost included it, but they're really long.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if you know this. He hosts a very popular
Screencast.
thing called
Wandering
the Screencast.
Earth, Crazy Alien, and Pegasus are all from Chinese movie groups.
Oh,
So the Wandering
looks
Earth is a
actually
China film
dope.
group. And then Crazy Alien and Pegasus are from a company called Huaxia. But what's interesting about The Wandering Earth is it's China's first full-scale interstellar spectacle movie.
Yeah,
It's-
So
we watched the
it's them
trailer for this a long
themselves
time ago on the
making-
morning
making
show. It
movies.
looks cool. It's about moving the Earth to another solar system.
Yeah.
Oh, neat.
It's a fascinating concept. It looks very cool.
It looks really cool because it like they install these giant
Boosters.
Yeah, on the sides of Earth.
Oh,
and
like
then
in
blast
like in
it forward.
Sokovia.
Yes.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Ultron
Bringing
was
it
right.
back, bringing it back to
Ultron
MCU.
was right.
Ultron
A
was
budget
right.
of $50 million, though, for
What,
that one.
50?
50. Yeah. So
Interesting.
quite the return. Anyway, I just saw that. I was like, what the hell are half these movies? So pretty cool shit.
Yeah.
Pretty.
Turns out
pretty
China,
cool.
pretty big market for movies.
Yeah.
I
Who
did
would've
not
thought?
know How to Train Your Dragon came out already.
It
Yeah.
did.
Oh, yeah.
I
Came
feel like
on.
they've been
Check it out,
teasing
man.
it since
Forever,
October.
since I was born.
Yeah. And it's, wow, okay. I need to go check it
So
out.
I see that
eight.
goddamn
So much
trailer one
eight.
more time.
I like the
swear
first
to
two.
God.
We're gonna call it a.
You're gonna like
No.
the third one.
Yeah?
We're gonna call it
Yeah.
a light dragon. What do they call it? A light dragon. Oh, that's much better right now.
That's much
He's
better.
actually doing really
That's a
good.
good
at,
impersonation
I
of
hate
Justin.
that guy's
what's his
voice.
name?
I hate.
It's not.
It's not
You're thinking
Justin
Justin
Long.
Long. It's not
No.
Justin Long. It's the other guy.
It's the guy from This Is
every-
the End or whatever.
He was in the college movie.
Yeah, I don't. No, that's Justin Long. That's,
Oh,
you're
fuck.
just thinking Justin Long. Again.
All right, back
He
to
was a Die Hard 4.
Captain,
No, Justin
Captain
Long.
Marvel. Runtime of 2 hours and 4 minutes. So pretty svelte for a Marvel movie. Didn't feel it. I'll tell you that much.
You thought it was too long?
It definitely did not feel like 2 hours.
Are you saying it felt longer or
yeah,
shorter?
I thought it was longer.
Yeah, it dragged a little here and there.
Yeah, but I didn't. I mean, I don't
Pretty
think it was a
quick for me.
problem. But I just,
No.
I wouldn't say it was 2 hours. I'd bet it was like 2:30, something like that.
Interesting. I mean,
What do you guys think of it?
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's one of those sort of mid to high tiers. Now, when we talk
to high.
when we talk about the MCU list, I feel like the first 15 movies are in a really
Are the
really
high?
good tier.
Yeah,
Yeah,
got it,
it's-
okay.
Yeah. It's one of those weird things where when you look at it on the list, where it's going to be placed on the list in my mind, it makes it look like a mediocre to average movie, but I think it's much better than that. I think that there were a lot of missed opportunities with music placement and the licensed music that they used. I don't love the choices that they had, and when they put them in there, I feel like it was kind of awkward at times. But I thought Brie Larson was great. I thought Sam Jackson was awesome. It
The
was a
de-aging on him was amazing.
yeah, really
It
bizarre.
was the first time that I
didn't
was
notice
not,
it.
Yeah,
I
distracted.
feel
by
like,
it.
jarring.
did they do it digitally or did they do a lot of it with just makeup?
It was a mix of both, but like I believed it.
Because the Greg Clark stuff didn't look all that great.
No.
Clark Gregg, thank
Yeah.
you. Some of that looked a little weird, and also his character I felt was just so stiff. You're like, you're really not using
Coulson?
that character. Yeah,
Yeah.
Coulson's character.
Here's
like,
what
this is weird.
here's what I felt about Clark Gregg as Coulson. I felt like
As young Coulson.
I feel
Sweet
like
young Coulson.
the actor died and they were using him posthumously.
That's
Like,
exactly what it
because
felt like.
there was like
It felt like Leia on the
there
bridge
were weird scenes
of Rogue
where
One.
it's like, oh well, we have this footage of him saying this from another movie. Let's put that here. Like it felt really awkward.
But I'm pretty
and
sure they actually got the
forced,
actor
yeah.
back because I don't think.
Well, they definitely
Clark
did.
Gregg's
No,
doing
Oh no, they
anything.
did. Yeah,
that was
but
I think
definitely
he was
Clark
like
Gregg.
It
by his
felt
phone, like,
awkward.
well, yes, I'll be there. Hello, yeah, I'll be there.
Just got finished with season 19 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., right, Kev?
I think it's season 8.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's ending now, right?
this is one.
Is
of,
it?
I thought so.
I didn't see that.
You just broke news to Kevin.
Maybe I'm wrong. I was
Host
reading an
of a
article about it where
entertainment
somebody's
news
trying
show.
to catch me up. Oh, maybe it was that it was supposed to end and they kept going. Is that the deal? I don't know. All right.
I'll find out Thursday night.
I kind of like this movie in spite of itself. Like one of my big worries going in was that a lot of the humor wasn't going to hit because based on the trailer, I had some criticisms of like Brie Larson's delivery.
Yeah.
And those were actually pretty confirmed when I saw this. I thought first off, Samuel L. Jackson did a great job, but I thought their dynamic was kind of exactly what I was worried it was going to be, which was instead of it being laugh out loud quirky like you would imagine the group of Avengers being, laugh out loud funny, it was quirky. And by about 60 minutes in, I was like, you know what? I'm okay with this weird vibe. This because her character is not the Scarlett Johansson character where it's like I'm gonna play off all these guys. It was this weird like I'm an alien who's had my mind wiped, and now I don't really know where I'm at, and I'm almost robotic. And I just kind of there was a tipping point about halfway through the movie where I'm like, you know what? I get this. This character's not like I can't imagine her having that back and forth with the Avengers. But
Sure.
but in this movie where she almost kind of feels like it kind of smacks with like the Terminator of a person out of like a fish out of water sort of situation where she comes back and doesn't really understand how all this stuff works, but kind of does have that sarcasm because she does have that tie to herself in the past, but can't quite use it. I don't know if that's what they were going for or not, but I think Brie Larson brought something interesting to this role.
Yeah.
I like that they just kind of played her straight. There was no over sexualization. There was no low cut stuff. It was just, you're just Captain Marvel. You're going in there, and I thought
Just Captain Marvel.
Well, I liked that, right? And that was something that my wife actually pointed out, where she was like, you know what? I kind of liked that she wasn't like they didn't make her a sex symbol. The outfit wasn't super like curvy and sexy. She wasn't in a little short skirt. It was just cool. She was just a character like everyone else, and it really affects how you see that character, going forward, which I liked.
I think it's the best suit we've seen in superhero movie history.
Oh, wow.
Like, especially towards the end. Like once it's the red and blue one, it's like the vibrancy of it and just the way that it looks physical. Like it looks real. Like you can tell she's actually in a suit.
Sure.
And it didn't have that awkward look of like some of the leaked behind the scenes pictures we saw that made her look kind of frumpy.
Yeah.
It's like, this looks like what they wanted to do with the X-Men in 2000, where it's like, you're in cool leather suits, but it's like that looked like a practical suit that you'd actually fight in, but it also was cool and comic accurate and colorful and like vibrant.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa, you nailed all the things. Like that's really impressive.
I'm also really I can't remember watching an MCU trailer and having bad feelings about it because a lot of the Captain Marvel trailers, like Nick mentioned, her line delivery was really bad.
Yeah.
And
Out of context,
you
it
could
seems
tell
super
it
weird.
was pulling clips from weird takes and this and that, and all of it felt really off. And I was like, this is an Oscar-winning actress, right? And winning or nominated?
He's nominated.
By the way, it's like
For
we
The Room.
know she has the chops, but all of these trailers are really bad and they just sound off. And I'm really glad that I didn't have any of those vibes in the movie at all. I thought she was great.
I'm with Tim. I got a few of them. Like I don't think that she had great chemistry with Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh, I totally disagree.
I think Samuel L. Jackson was really fun to watch, and anyone in his stratosphere was just like, who cares?
Exactly.
He's having you could tell he was having so much fun playing the young Nick Fury, where
He doesn't have the baggage.
yeah, he doesn't have all the baggage of all the wars, and it's just starting, and he's just coming to the realization that there's things out there that are going to destroy us.
The thing that I think is a little odd with that is he does. Like, this is post, like, he reveals in this that he, like, spent time in the army, and, you know what I mean? So, like,
Well, he's
has-
still a SHIELD operative,
Yeah.
so he's got all the legacy of Howard Stark's SHIELD and all that stuff, right?
No, but, like, he was, like, right? Didn't he say that he had been,
What are you
like,
trying to
Yeah,
say?
he was
fighting in
a
war?
soldier before
Yeah.
this. Yeah. But I'm saying
So
all the baggage of
Yeah.
the
Fucking
Avengers,
the world ending
New
every
York,
second.
New York, the attack on New York, all that
Humans
stuff.
being insignificant in the grand scheme of this. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and I will give a shout out real quick to the style of this movie, which I really, really liked, because it like the soundtrack, which had a really like hardcore sci-fi feeling to it.
The score was amazing.
The score, that's
one
what
of
I'm
the
saying.
first times where I'm like, finally, I've been asking for this for 21 movies now. It's
Yeah.
like, give the heroes identifiable themes. And
This
it's like,
one-
granted, it's not as identifiable as Wonder Woman's.
But what I liked
it's
was
so-
they went. There were themes in there that went for like an 80s like cheesy sci-fi theme, and then there was moments where I swear to God they were like someone was watching an episode of Chips, and was just like all the car chase stuff. I'm like, this is like a 90s cop show. I kind of like it.
Yeah.
like it's kind of working for
That was
me.
my problem, is kind of like it. It's
That-
like,
I kind of liked a lot of things in
Yeah.
this movie. I didn't hate anything.
Me neither.
And so that's why I liked the
That's-
movie. Like there was nothing that was absolutely stand out, except for maybe like the last few moments of it where she finally comes into her own, where I was like, all right, that's pretty fucking dope. Like her facing off against Ronan and just being like fucking
Ronan be like, let's
just,
go.
yeah, we gotta
Retreat,
go.
peace.
Like straight up like, oh my God, that was really cool. And we actually got to see it. That was the thing, is like, I'm like, how powerful is she? She's getting her ass kicked, and there's not much she can do with these hands. And then when the
Inhibitorship.
chains come off, you're like, oh shit, she actually is one of the most powerful like beings in the cosmos, or in the galaxy at least.
Going back to what we were talking about a second ago, is like you were saying that like the trailers where you were worried about it coming off flat and stuff,
Yeah.
and like we argued about that
Yeah.
on Internet Explorers and on screencasts and on stuff where I was like, I feel like it's bad in the trailers, but it's gonna make sense when you see it in context. And then I watched it, I was like, I was fucking wrong.
Man.
Like, it's just like the problem with it is Brie Larson's so good. Like, I feel like she just can't be bad. Anything she's reading, anything she's delivering, she's going to be great. But what they gave her is so weird because I feel like she doesn't have a character. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that she has amnesia for half
Exactly,
the movie,
that's the
which
thing.
is a disservice to the movie. Like,
Yeah, but it's a great launching pad for her, right?
I get that. And that's the thing is, like, this reminds me a lot of Captain America First Avenger or Thor. And it's like, that's unfortunate when we're watching this movie in between Infinity War and Endgame. And I think that's a reality. You know what I mean? It's like we're used to seeing.
I wonder if this and this is something I left the theater with and thought, I'm like, I wonder where this character will be 2 movies from now, because I feel like she didn't quite nail the character in this. I feel like a lot of her line delivery was rushed, and I feel like she didn't really own the character. But I don't know if that's just because this is her first time doing something like she's never done a role like this before.
I just don't
you have
think
to remember Brie Larson
character to own. Like
I think
that's a possibility.
I think that's
as well.
the narrative of it, right? Is the fact that her coming into her own at the end is her finally capitalizing on getting her memories back and becoming Carol again, right? Like I loved this movie. Like I think I'm with Andy, where when we sit there and rank it, it's going to make it look worse than it was. But I think it's one of my favorite standalone. Hey, this is a character intro origin movie from the Marvel universe.
But that's only also because it's up against some stiff competition as well. Really stiff at this point.
What part? Which part? Are you
When
talking
we're
to?
ranking it, like it's important to keep in mind that the
100%. That's why we're talking about it. That's why we're talking about it.
Yeah.
But like I came in with such low expectations to no expectations. I didn't know anything about the character. I don't know Brie Larson's catalog well. The trailers I had seen, I was like, why is she talking like this? Like, why is she delivering stuff like this? And I was from the get to the end, like so hooked and so into it. And I loved her and Fury, and I loved the relationship they had. And I thought they did have chemistry. I loved the relationship with her best friend.
Yeah.
From
That
being
was
best friends
great.
to being
That was a
there
great
to having the
relationship.
kid. Again, my Marvel bench not very deep. So when the Skrull stuff happened and all that shit, I was like, holy shit, this is awesome. When he comes in
Skrull
drinking
stuff
the
was
soda,
such a good
I was like,
twist.
what a bad guy. And I was like, wait, is he not a bad? And then he was like talking, I was like, wait, what? And I was like, holy shit, this is awesome.
Cool turn.
That shit was
Yeah.
awesome. And
Great
that's my problem is I feel like this movie has the reverse Wonder Woman problem where Wonder Woman's first and second act were so good and the third was, in my opinion, trash. With this movie, I'm like, the second and third act were great because she was finally Carol. Her with her best friend was like, okay, this is awesome. We're finally seeing some cool stuff because the Skrull twist was great.
Yeah.
I love that storytelling. Everything about that, I'm like, I'm super in. But it took way too long to get there. And the whole first act, I was like, I didn't like it. I was like, it's not as bad as the third act of Wonder Woman, in my opinion, but like,
Oh, yeah, I think this is hands down a better movie than Wonder Woman.
I don't know about that.
I do.
I loved.
yeah,
I loved
I agree with
the.
that.
I really enjoyed how in the first act we got that really cool
Flashbacks.
war scene. Not war
Halo
scene, but
shit,
when
man.
they're
That
on
was
the
cool as
planet.
fuck.
When they're on the
Yeah,
planet and they
yeah.
find like the Skrull tries to trick her.
Yeah.
I thought that shit was really like
Hell yeah.
engaging. I
Hell
was so
yeah.
engaged in that part.
Were there POV shots in that? Where
I mean,
you can see
first
down
person,
sides?
yeah.
That was really
That was
cool.
awesome.
Very well done. Yeah.
Shout out to Gemma Chan who played Minerva. She's
Yeah.
awesome.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
awesome.
Always great.
She's really good.
Little
awesome.
utilized though. I wanted a little bit more of that little side
Why
character.
not?
I thought it was a
Why
cool
not?
way to give us like the piecemeal memories of them, making her go through them, trying to get the information.
Yeah.
Like you start figuring out what they're doing, and I like that as a good hearing them. No, you're too far back, and this, that, and the other. And I thought it was a cool way to give me flashbacks to establish what's going on, but also make me and her question why this is happening.
Also, I love the mind. Like, there's a slight tonal shift when that's happening to goofiness. And I'm like, that's weird. These guys are a little goofy.
Yeah.
And then at the end, when the reveal,
You're science guy.
He's like, where were you on that? You're a science guy. Like that character. I think it's Ben Mendelsohn, right? That
It
plays
is,
that
dude.
guy.
So good.
What a great role for him because he's always the bad guy.
Yeah.
And it's great that he got a chance to be the bad guy and then
be
flip to
fun.
be fun.
Yeah.
And that character, you end up loving that guy by the end
So
of it.
much, yeah.
And I like, and I also like that he has that one line where he's like, listen, like I got dirt on my hands too. Like this is war. We've all done shit we don't like. Like let's just help us. Like let's help us get out of here and help us end this fucking thing in a good way. I just like that character change. I thought that was really good.
The Skrulls were definitely, I think, my favorite part of the whole movie.
Absolutely.
And I really hope that because there are a lot of awkward things with like Ronan. Because it's like, what the hell was that? Like, why was Ronan in so little of this movie? It didn't seem like a character was necessary.
I loved it.
I'm wondering if they're building that for more of Marvel too, where it is another one of these movies that's in between.
I really fucking hope not. And
and we
because
just
my
get
biggest
her and
problem
the Skrulls
with this
being
movie,
chased by Ronan. That'd be pretty cool.
the
I'd
biggest
be
problem I
into
have with this movie is it being a prequel. Is because we know that they need to do all the weird setups, and I feel like this movie does more Han Solo moments than it does like good prequel moments where it's like the Avenger thing, where it's like, oh, he looks at the plane and it's that. It's like that
was
wasn't
a little
built up
unnecessary
at all.
Yeah.
And I feel like any like reference that we see to other things convolute stuff more than it like enhances the plot. The Tesseract.
Yeah, that
Why?
when I was in the Uber home, I was just like, wait, so where do I
Howard
remember?
Stark
What's
got
the
it
last
at the end of
exactly?
First
He got
Avengers,
it and pulled it
then-
up, right? And
so
then
it's like, why does she have it now?
But then so
Well,
then,
that
but
would-
then-
Shield,
wouldn't
I
that be why Marvel came to Earth because the
Yeah.
Tesseract was there?
Yeah. They actually say that. They're
Yeah.
like, oh, they found.
And her project was under S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, because I believe
Yeah.
Pegasus is a division under S.H.I.E.L.D. that's developing stuff.
I get that,
Yeah.
but then her ended up in space, and then like, what is like? Are they just going to be like, oh, where to go?
Well, no, I think the idea was that she was going to use that power of the Tesseract to fuel the engine.
I
that
don't
would
think that's
send
his
the
question.
Skrull.
Though. His question.
The Tesseract itself, if
Got hidden in
Shield
space.
didn't have it anymore, they're like, way to go, and she's like,
I think
I don't
S.H.I.E.L.D.
know.
I think S.H.I.E.L.D. lost it when.
when we pick up
when it got
in
exploded.
in just Avengers,
It's on
the
the bottom
first
of the-
one.
Yeah.
I remember it being in the case. And
they're in Pegasus
okay.
in the beginning of
Yeah.
Avengers.
Okay, okay.
and
So
they're,
because-
they're doing experiments on it.
Okay.
to,
That was
like,
cool
try to
that
make
it's the
weapons
same
and
base.
shit. It was cool.
I like
but
that,
it was
yeah.
like it's just like a weird. It's a weird storytelling thing where it makes you ask questions that you shouldn't be asking. I guess that's my thing.
mean,
when we have a continuity
I
that's
just
this
assumed she was,
tight,
but I just assumed she was so smart that she was able to get it out from underneath them and without them knowing it. Like she
Also-
had ships hidden in camouflage in space. Like this is
She
she's a
pooped
highly
and then
advanced
made
thing.
the Skrull stuff into that.
Yeah.
Like looked like the Tesseract. and put it
Exactly.
there.
You know,
Yeah.
Or she was just a highly like
there was this
they
thing
just trusted her because she was
that
one of the
almost
highest
like
scientists.
destroyed the world in World War whatever the fuck. Right? And we got Howard Stark
Big war.
worried
Important
about
war.
this thing.
Yeah.
All right. It's like, and they're just gonna like she's gonna be smart enough to hide it. I just don't
Well,
buy that at
again, I
all.
don't know if it's that, but they also trusted her as like the head scientist of S.H.I.E.L.D. So you would figure that she was like, I got this, don't worry about it. I don't
Not
who
enough.
knows?
Not enough in net betting.
And
so
she
anyway.
was-
Fucking net betting rocked this, dude.
Yeah.
God bless
I
her.
want more.
What a
I
great-
love her.
what a-
Love
you could
her.
tell she was actually having fun toward the
Sure.
end there. She was like, I'm having a good time here.
I feel like there's a little bit too much guessing happening, but I do think that she was able to harness its energy and put it into something else, which we saw with the ship where it later explodes.
Mm-hmm.
And then from that, she could have switched it out and had
Yeah.
that instead of the
It
actual
was
cube.
weird that it was up there, but you know, what are you
But
going to do?
there's that, and then there's like all the '90s jokes. I just feel like didn't fit the tone of the movie. This movie could have done that if it was a bit more lighthearted, but it's not because we're dealing with a character that doesn't remember anything, and she's just a blank slate.
Yeah.
So every time she kind of interacts with the weird '90s stuff, it's like it felt so
She doesn't have a
bad and
touchstone to
forced
it.
me. Where it's like she has no touchstone to it. Why is there '90s songs playing when she's from the '80s? Like when you really start thinking about it, it's like
well,
there's a
because
lot of
we're
weird
in the
issues.
90s, and that makes sense.
I get that, but then
And
why
she's
is there
wearing a Nine
90s
Inch Nails
songs
shirt.
playing like during her epic fucking power up scene, right?
Because it's a
Right.
90s
It's
This
the
movie.
is
90s.
fucking awesome.
But it's not a '90s movie. But it's like it's
Set in the
like it's
90s.
that, but like that's supposed to be her moment where it's like it's
Yeah.
supposed to relate to her.
I will agree that all of the references were a skosh ham-fisted.
Like when she used a
Like
Game Boy to make a phone call.
That was hilarious. I don't like everything was on the nose. I'll say that. And all kidding aside,
That's
like
true.
when we see the flashback and she's in the Appetite for Destruction shirt with the cutoff shirt, I was like, guys, like I respect that that's a great album, but people would not like. She would have worn something a little bit less like on the fucking nose than that.
She stole it off the dummy, right? Is that?
No. That was the Nine Inch Nails shirt that she wore.
My
This
apologies.
was when we were going back in that bar where she was seeing herself in the bar.
Oh,
it was always,
right,
it was always the
right,
Appetite
right,
for
right.
Destruction
She
album
loved
cover
music,
shirt,
man.
and I'm
She's
like,
just a rock
I get it.
rock
You got to
star.
throw it out there for. I mean, you have to remember who this is for, right? This is for us. Yes, sure, but also for people who are younger, who maybe their only touchstone to the 80s or like 90s are the things that really stick out, like the most famous of them. Nine Inch Nails being
Radio
one of them.
Shack.
Nirvana's album being one of them. Like.
I just can't believe
I would have
they
liked some
did
obscure-
Blockbuster and then they just made the same joke again with Radio Shack. It's like
That was fucking hilarious. I called that too.
That
She
was
like, where
my
are all your
problem.
communications things? And I'm like, she's gonna point to a fucking Radio Shack because you remember in the '90s there was always a Blockbuster and then a Radio Shack and
should
then a
be better
Starbucks
writers
and a
than us.
fucking and a Noah's Bagel right next to it. Like that was the
They
mini
should be
mall.
better writers than us. That's
No,
great.
I like it. I like to believe that I'm a better writer than these people.
I
I mean, you've proven it time and time again.
I thought the Radio Shack thing worked. I thought the Game Boy thing was ham-fisted. I thought the Nine Inch Nails shirt. I'm like, we don't need her.
The
walking around
Mallrats
in
thing
Nails.
was
the Mallrats
brilliant.
thing almost cried at. Did you
Yeah.
catch that he was actually
Yeah.
rehearsing his fucking
Yes.
lines?
Yeah,
in that movie?
yeah, of course.
What? Like it hit me because you guys were mentioning that Kevin Smith had Instagrammed about
Yeah.
something, and I remembered him like crying about that, and I started crying. And my wife was like, "What's wrong with you?" I'm like, he's rehearsing his fucking lines
For
from
Mallrats.
Mallrats. Like, that's
great.
genius. That's genius.
One of his
I
best
didn't get the
cameos.
reference.
if
I had
not
that.
his
I had that
best
moment where I
cameo.
like grabbed Jen. She had no idea why.
No idea. I was like,
like,
I don't think you understand how like important that
favorite
movie
movies of all
was. How
time.
Kevin Smith was like wrote that movie for people who are actually comic book fans, and it was the first time we saw it. You know, you talk about this all the time. It was the first. It was awesome.
It's
So
brilliant, and it became my favorite cameo.
Stanley
They-
cameo.
they-
Speaking
knocked
of
it
Stan
out of the
Lee, that fucking
the
intro.
intro?
Oh my god!
When it
What a
started, I did the same
great
thing. Grabbed Jen. I'm
call.
like, it's all gonna be Stanley.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
so good.
So good.
I didn't even
good.
notice it until afterward. I'm like, fuck, I gotta see the movie.
I was
again.
alone in the movie theater. Well, just like to myself and
I
my
like to believe
thoughts.
you rented the entire.
It was a
movie
full
theater.
theater. It was a full. It was a
It's
full
just
theater.
Andy, but Andy's also in the front row. He's like, I don't know why guys should go to see. I don't see that
I
much.
felt like I was alone in that moment, and just so many emotions coursing
Yeah,
through my body.
yeah.
I was talking to Barrett yesterday about the
Bear.
music choices.
Yeah.
Yep.
And how like, you know, that one Nirvana "Come As You Are" weirdly
come
placed.
Yeah.
I didn't love "No Doubt." And here's what I was thinking, Barrett.
You know, like
I
I'm just a girl or whatever. At the end?
I didn't love that in that
love
moment.
that.
I did like. I did.
I wanted like Rage Against the
Yeah.
Machine or
that
like
would've been amazing.
fucking like Barrett and I were talking like Sabotage, and he mentioned Intergalactic by Beastie Boys.
Yeah.
Like I would have loved to hear some of those songs, and I feel like they picked a Nirvana song that just didn't really fit.
But
that moment.
my main complaint of that scene where like the
Which one's the Come As You Are scene?
that's where she's
I remember
talking
it.
to the intelligence again.
Oh yeah, that was weird.
And
Okay.
it leads into that great moment where she's looking at her past and all
Right.
that stuff.
It was her Thor bridge moment, except she didn't earn it. That's the problem.
Oh, I totally disagree with you.
Wait,
there.
Come As You Are was the Thor Bridge moment?
Yeah.
I
But
thought the No Doubt one was where she went. Isn't that when she goes fucking crazy and starts attacking?
You're
Yeah.
talking about the Supreme Intelligence?
well, I'm trying to talk about the No Doubt scene where they play I'm just a girl. I felt like it felt out of place because they hadn't like played a lot of 90s songs throughout, so the song itself just felt like it came out of nowhere. Like I know we got Nirvana like 5 to 10 minutes before that, but it still felt like I forgot that they've been playing 2 or 3 90s
Sure.
songs.
And the
throughout.
music-
the music was-
unlike Guardians, where Guardians is like
The whole thing's built around it.
yeah, exactly. And like
makes
it
sense.
just kind of came out of nowhere.
can
So
understand
I'm thinking even if we try to replace that song with something else that we think is cooler, I feel like it would still
Same
feel
idea.
weird.
But do you feel like, here's my question though, do you feel like that is because we know these songs so well? And that my thing with Guardians, while that worked, is because a lot of these songs were a little bit more obscure and from the 70s. Like remember the first Guardians, most of the songs were pulled from the 70s, not the 80s. So those songs were songs like Fleetwood Mac, things like that I had kind of heard a little bit, but wasn't very familiar with. And so was kind of experiencing for the first time with along with like the characters in that thing. Whereas this one, I'm like, I mean, the 90s, I was in high school for Christ's sake. I remember listening to all these songs ad nauseum on the fucking radio, and so I feel like maybe that's why they feel a little heavy-handed.
Greg, give me some live. Give me some collective soul. You know what I'm saying, Greg?
I do
You're
know.
right there with
Throw
me.
some copper, as they say. You know what I mean?
fix that.
We can't fix that.
Yeah.
What is
We
Yeah.
it?
got
It's
it.
the
the door
wind
jam.
hitting the
Yeah.
bottom
Gotcha.
of the door.
You
One
hear
of
it
the
buzzing.
things,
It's the door.
one of the things
Can we
that
like stuff a towel under it?
We'll look at it later.
no, it's too thin. Like I've tried stretching it. It doesn't matter. One of the things with the music, and like I don't usually notice music unless it's like exceptionally good with the Guardians or really bad. I felt like those two big moments, the music did not fit. The tone of the I'm
Should've
just a
been the
girl
score.
was so much slower than the fighting felt. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
And it also it was playing right at the start of the fight, and then the jukebox was hit.
Yeah,
And
the
then the music
jukebox
kept
should have
playing?
been the thing that played it.
That triggered it, right? Yeah, it's kind of weird. Anyway,
It got blown up. She shot it, right? Or that was
but I just thought
that was
they were.
early.
I thought they were.
Let's get to the plot.
Oh, what? We're still doing that?
Yeah, dude.
Oh shit.
It can be abbreviated.
The light in Greg's eyes just went out because I think there was one moment where Greg was like, maybe Tim will just let us.
I was
skip
like,
it
I
this
hope
time.
we're not gonna have to do. Well, it's because yesterday Tim and I were talking. He's like, yeah, you gotta do plots tomorrow. I was like, I'm sorry, what? I was like 3 drinks deep watching Captain Marvel. I was like, I was not doing homework like I,
I mean, we could
normally
just
do.
keep talking about scenes and stuff.
Yeah,
Like,
but I
you
mean, you
guys
can try to
got
piece
that.
them all together. Go.
Abbreviated plot.
Abbreviated plot. So they open with a whole bunch of dirt, and you think, holy shit, we're picking up with Thanos. This is it. It's happening right here. No, it's not. It was her falling in the dirt. I don't even remember. We're having the fight, right? We're fighting on the beach. We've crashed, but we don't know we've crashed. That's where she's bleeding green already, and we see the Skrulls come over, and we think, oh my God, it's a Skrull, and this is how it happened. Oh my God. And she wakes up. She's like, oh my God, guys, I was having such a bad dream. So she wakes up Jude Law. She's like, hey, Jude Law. And he's like, do you know what time it is? And
I got
she's
evil
like,
eyes.
She's like, how? What? He's like, and she's like, what time is it? And he goes, it's very early in space time.
And a semester abroad. Keep going. Reference. Reference.
He's pretty.
What is the reference to?
I don't
Just
know.
keep.
He's
Tell me,
pretty,
what's
but-
the
It's a
song?
song.
What's
It's
the
a song.
song? What?
It's a song.
Dashboard?
Brand new.
Brand new. I don't know that
We
one.
see Jude Law, by the way, jacked.
Looking
Got big.
beautiful.
But
Beautiful,
here's
man.
the thing. Again, I think another, and this is not a slight against Brie Larson, but another weird directing choice. I didn't think they had any chemistry whatsoever the entire time. Like Jude Law doing his best. It reminded me of the seminal holiday film, The Holiday.
Sure.
Where
course.
he's
Lest we
supposed to
forget.
fall in love with one Cameron Diaz, and they have zero fucking chemistry, and it just seems super weird when she comes back in and he's crying, and he's like, I was hoping you'd come back. I'm like, just end this movie. Like Kate Winslet and Jack Black had more chemistry than you two, for Christ's sake. That's what this felt.
I thought they were fine.
Yeah, I thought they were
Oh,
fun, too.
well, I'll fuck off then.
I like, this jumps to them doing MMA,
Yep.
Mooey Twice, and all this
MMA.
space Mooey Twi, and they're rolling around and stuff. I thought they had chemistry here. I thought their little banter back and forth was fun and,
And
stuff.
I like
but it
the
was
setup,
like,
right?
even though I didn't think he was evil at the time, I was still like, he seems evil.
Yeah.
You know what I
Well,
mean? He's
and
got
you-
like this Sinestro vibe going on.
You get the idea, and thematically, I like this scene because it sets it up. You get the idea of this is control, right? He's trying to control her. He's saying, hey, you have to do these things to be better.
You get that idea because he explicitly says it.
Like,
Well, he's-
without this. you know.
Well, but it's set up like this thing's some sort of regulator that's keeping her from like Dark Phoenixing it. But then toward the end of the movie, you're like, oh, I get what this is. It's not about them like regulating it. It's about them controlling her, and that's what the whole movie one of the underlying themes is, and it's set up here.
Well, they kept setting it up that like it was giving her the powers, right? They're like, we gave it to you, we can take it away.
from
Yeah.
you.
Right. I'm sorry. That's correct. I misspoke.
And so then it's like, yeah, fuck, we're in space. This is chill. And
Super chill.
they're like, all right, cool. Now we got to go
Hala?
fight. Huh?
Name of the planet?
Yeah.
Hala.
Holla.
Holla! Ain't no stopping me. So then it's like, guess what, man? The Skrulls are fucking over on that planet. We should go get them other people in the same matching outfit, including the dude from Air, who's the dude from Guardians, who goes, who?
Jaimin Hounsu.
Jaimin
There you go. Thank you very much. And I'm like, good callback. It's all happening. Nice.
Yeah.
And I like they set him up a little bit where he's like, we should let Ronan come. And he's like, no, we're not letting Ronan
And
come.
they made him Drax for like a little bit.
Yeah.
He was
You are a
basically
very
Drax.
handsome man.
Yeah, with that whole little dialogue exchange, he's on the ship and he's like, they're talking about the handsomeness. They're talking about how, it's just, they kind of gave him like that dumb Ophi role.
I thought it was
Enjoyed
fun.
So they go down. They're gonna fight these Skrulls. And they're like, cool. We're gonna stay on. We gotta figure out if they're villagers or Skrulls. So we're keeping our distance. Can't tell. If some of us will go down there and they're doing a whole like fucking Halo, whatever. They're doing Division 2. They're doing like
Apex
fucking shit here.
Legends,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? They're pinging
Fortnite.
shit. They're pinging
You're
it.
just naming games?
Tetris 99.
It's a
And
good
so people start going down there and they're trying to figure out. They're like, stay back. I'm freaking out. Like, are you a Skrull? Like, I don't know, man. What's a Skrull? I'm a person. Help us.
We're just refugees, but
And
we're
then
getting
me-
really aggressive with you.
And then upstairs the sniper's up there and the guy comes back and he's like, it's all chill, and she's like, oh, thanks. And then she looks through and sees the guy like, oh man, it's not, you're a Skrull. And they start fighting there. And then
She fucks him up immediately.
yeah,
Cool.
exactly. It was real cool.
No games to play.
Yeah, and then Captain Marvel's down there, and she's all like, "Hey, man, we're here to help." And he's like, "All right, I might be a Skrull, and I think he's a Skrull." And then like, "It's Skrulls!" And everyone's like, "Ah!" There's like, "What did he do?"
It's awesome.
They're just fucking punching shit.
The first like reveal we get of the Skrulls is that lady going up to the sniper guy and being like, "Oh no, they're good. We found a couple dead bodies. They're starving." And then like he sees her down there and he looks over.
This is
right?
literally what I just talked about, except the sniper guy is a girl, and the girl you just brought up to him is a guy.
Well,
Jim and
she
Chan.
shoots him and like he dies and we get the first like scroll thing.
Yeah.
That was really cool. Really like that.
That was cool. That
Sorry.
was cool. That was a cool moment.
this is where they kidnap her, right?
I thought we were
Yeah.
talking about Marvel in the base. No.
So yeah, she gets knocked out. She gets kidnapped. Then we start getting the flashbacks, and like I was talking about. I thought this was really cool.
I thought it was a cool
dialing
scene,
back,
too.
seeing all the stuff, seeing her throughout the ages.
We're getting the goofiness. We get the goofiness of the two little mini scrolls,
Yeah.
which I don't know what the hell those things were, but they
Just
were
mini
cute.
scrolls, man.
They're like
I
Ewoks. It's to sell merchandise,
Yeah.
Nick. You know?
Sure.
Everybody wants a scroll now.
They're just like those stupid fucking pogs. What are they called? Porgs.
Yeah.
I
I like
thought we were
those
talking
things,
about podcasts.
We know you do.
I love them. I think they're the best part of The Last Jedi.
So she wakes up and she's like, not on my fucking watch, guys. And she warms up her hands real good and gets out of everything. But she can't warm her hands up to get them off, which I thought was weird. But she's got her hands warmed up.
She was trying the whole time.
And she's
She
just
doesn't have
fucking
control over
kickboxing and stuff. And she's doing
Fucking people
Muay
up.
Thais and stuff.
Yep,
She's
Muay Thais.
punching people and they're like, oh man, we're Skrulls. You know
I'm a
what I
Skrull
mean?
punch.
Yeah,
Did
yeah.
we get a
Skrull
super
punch.
scroll? There was a moment where there was,
There was
a
like big
giant
dude.
one.
Yeah, Jack
Oh,
Down
yeah,
Scroll.
yeah, come on, yeah, yeah, like a
the
hammer
rock
scroll.
together.
Yeah, the rock scroll.
Huge dick.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
giant dick.
And he can make it look like anything.
Look, no, it looks like a pint glass. It's really cool.
I love it. Nick just he's so
It's got to come from somewhere, guys. Do you understand that?
So they're fighting up there, and they blast out the thing, and the ship. Some people get sucked out, but she doesn't get sucked out, and people are tumbling out in space. It's like, we got to get off this Skrull ship, guys.
Yeah.
Shit's going south. And so there's some emergency pods, and they eject a bunch of Skrulls. But then she gets in one, and she ejects. But then they shoot at her a little bit, but she gets away, and then she crashes, and she's crashing on a planet 50. And guess what, everybody? It's Earth. Oh my God, how cool! She crashes into the Blockbuster video. You saw this in the trailer. It would have been a cooler moment if the trailer hadn't ruined it. But I understand
That's
we have
fair.
to have trailers.
Believe it or not, the scenes really were shot using the last Blockbuster video in America.
Really?
Located
Minnesota?
in Bend, Oregon.
Oh.
So no facts
Specifically, those viewers, those viewers who find that the Blockbuster video logo and sign affixed to the roof of the store seemed a little off are correct because they renamed it, rebranded it to Blockbuster from Blockbuster Video in 1996. But since this was 1995, they digitally edited the sign
Oh, that's
to be
funny.
the original thing instead.
funny.
I love that.
Fun
I
little
love
thing.
that she ping pongs a fucking True Lies poster.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah.
That was awesome. And then
Yeah.
did you guys catch what video she
The Right
picked
Stuff.
up? Yeah, the right stuff. That was cool.
Which is the first American astronauts pushed
Yeah.
into space.
Yep.
Higher, further.
faster.
Great movie.
Oh, I didn't get that. Thank you. Okay,
I
cool.
did love her
Cool, cool,
talking to the security guard. Great back and forth.
I can't keep them straight. I was like, why did I think it was a Tom Cruise movie? All the right moves is
Tom
what
Cruise
I
movie.
can't keep. I've never watched
I think
all
that's
the
the
right
one where
stuff.
we see his doinker.
Exactly, and that's why I know it because it's from Scream. When she's trying to cheer her up, she's like, "I'll bring over a video." So
Yeah,
if you,
you
if
see
you
his
pause it
doink
right,
doink.
you can see his
Yeah,
doink
you see
doink.
his
That's what she said in the line.
Pee-pee. I mean, pretty much. You know what I mean? I think she says penis, but I don't know. So yeah, she goes outside and she's talking to the security guard there.
I love his exchange. She's like, "Are you the authority in
Yeah,
this sector?" He's like, "Well, the theater has a different security guy."
Yeah, that was great. That was funny.
fun. And then we get the Radio Shack bit where I was like, okay, again, I knew it was coming, but I thought it was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
For old guys like me that spent considerable amounts of time in a Radio Shack because we didn't have things
Buying
like
light
Best
bulbs.
Buys
Yeah.
or Fry's Electronics back
I don't
in the
think
day.
Radio Shack sold Game Boys though, but I digress.
They sold
They
everything.
definitely
Yeah, they sold everything.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Really?
But,
Yeah, I
they
got
only
my
had
Game
like
Boy there.
one, and it was
Oh,
like an
wow.
off.
And I do think that this sort of moment with her first being on Earth is kind of different than what we've seen in other movies where an outer space person lands on Earth where they're always trying to be secretive. And with her, it was just like, hey, is this planet C3? Like, I loved how nonchalant she was throughout all
Yeah,
of
because
this.
she's like an intergalactic,
Yeah,
you know,
like
police
security
force.
guard, yeah, she
Honestly,
wouldn't give a
and
shit.
this is, I mean, my own, like, you know, obviously I love I love the MCU, I love everything about it. There's obviously a deep seething rage in me all the time because it's always Marvel and not DC.
Yeah.
And this is the first time I ever watched any of these movies and been like, man, a Green Lantern movie could work if it was done well. Totally.
Yeah.
Which it never has. Don't get me wrong.
The one question I had for this, and Tim, you were talking about things that were like a little bit plot holy, was they've got a technology, and they show the technology where people can go from one planet to another planet with that grid thing that we saw in Guardians of the Galaxy.
I like that they brought that back.
Which they brought it
Tight as
back, which
fuck.
is cool. And I was like, because when we're leaving Hala or whatever it is, we go into the thing and then it just gets us. It's like some sort of
That honeycomb.
quantum space, subspace thing.
It's a jumping thing.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
Why do they need a light speed engine? Is my big question.
So I like tweeted about this or something, and I was saying like, this doesn't make any sense because.
Yeah. They've got a better technology than a light speed engine. Like a light
they've
speed engine would
already
still
figured
be
out.
hundreds of years to
Yeah.
get from one place to another, right?
But people are saying that like it's all within our galaxy, and that this
Sure.
technology would make it so they can jump to other galaxies.
And
'Cause
maybe
you
that's the
needed-
case because I don't know. But remember when they did the Guardians jump from
it
there
seemed
to like
where they had to do like 150 jumps.
Yeah, you would assume which is a great fucking scene. But you would assume that's like out of the galaxy, right?
Yeah.
Somewhere like he's a planet, but I mean maybe it
They've
is
never
all in
made
our
that
galaxy.
clear.
I feel like the reasoning for all of it is the Tesseract. It's the space thing, and we know that as an audience that can like teleport you anywhere you want to go. So
Yeah.
I think that's the reasoning.
So maybe
you
they
know?
just called it a Lightspeed engine. 'Cause
Also,
they, didn't have another
they
name
make
for
a
it.
point in the movie that like when she first gets to Earth and she's got to call Jude Law. He's like, when can we get to the closest?
I need Jude Law.
When's like the closest we can get to a jump point, and the person flying is like 22 hours. Where like the Lightspeed engine is an instant thing. Like they have to go to find a thing.
But that kind of doesn't make
jump
sense
point.
either because they're immediately near Earth when she wakes up, and the other people. I guess they didn't know where she was going, so they had to get to. Okay, that makes sense. Because I just feel like they were. It was like she gets kidnapped and then boom, they're right at Earth, and then it takes Jude Law's people like 8 days to get from wherever the fuck.
Well, I think they
were
knocked
here.
her out, and then they already traveled to
Dipped
Earth when she was knocked out.
That
They're like,
checks out.
peace, let's go. You know,
Peace. We'll be there in 22
Plot
hours.
hole closed.
sucked in.
Like a good old anus.
Like a good old anus.
Like a fresh one.
Not a
Yeah.
bad one, a good
All
old
right,
one.
let's keep going with the storyline.
So she's made her call. All right, cool. We'll come get you or whatever the fuck's going on. Cool. There's some scrolls here though. All right, cool.
Think about the scrolls. So there's 4 scrolls, right, on the beach.
Yeah.
80 of them though in real life. Apparently, there's so. It feels like there's so many of them on this planet at this point.
On Earth?
Yeah. I just felt like they kept
No.
throwing
No.
out more people that were masked.
Because we got one dies at the Radio
Train
Shack.
area, right? Oh yeah, he gets blasted.
Yeah.
Then we have the main dude, Ben
The main dude,
Mendelsohn.
he runs away.
And then there's the science guy. I feel like there's one scroll
Missing.
In
missing,
the wild.
Maybe.
which is Keith's shit.
He just wanted a new life, and now he's an Earthling.
yeah.
He could be anything
He
now.
applied for a 401k or whatever
I'll
adults do.
tell you this: we get on the beach in LA, right? We see the surfers. They take on the look of the surfers. Have that funny moment where it's like, this one's already taken. Kind of worked, kind of didn't. Whatever.
I thought that was a great moment.
Huge missed opportunity, Andy. That's right. We are in the mid '90s. Why the fuck didn't we
Baywatch.
get one? No, you monster.
Sorry.
Why didn't we get one single solitary Point Break reference in this entire movie? It's just bullshit. I mean, she couldn't have walked by a thing and seen the Bodhisattva.
What's Boy Zypha?
I don't know.
Patrick Swayze's character from Point Break.
Okay.
You know what? You guys need
Patrick
to read a
Swayze's
book.
passed away, sadly. So what do you want him to do?
She's like,
Read a book on the making of Point Break.
Anyways, Nick Fury and Agent Coulson roll on up, and they talk to the security guard who hasn't left his spot, and points over there, and they go, and Fury goes to talk to her while Coulson goes inside the Blockbuster.
And I love that she gives zero
Maybe
fucks
not right away.
that anyone is talking to her. She's like, I don't care. You're nothing to me.
You're nothing
Yeah,
to me.
I love that.
I
Like,
just thought, like, I was like, oh, great. We're going to spend a whole, 20 minutes with them trying to catch her. And then she just lets him walk right up. She's like, hold on, I'll be with you in a second. I'm on the phone right now.
yeah.
Hey, I'm so-and-so. Like, no attempts to
Hide
first
herself.
contact this at all.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
I'm
That's-
here.
to me,
And
that's
I
why I
love
but
it.
it's fresh. It's
Well,
new.
to me, that didn't make a lot of sense because, she knew about the planet, right?
Yeah.
So she knew, its designation. Wouldn't there be a little bit more information that would say, hey, we've had no contact. They're not going to know any of this stuff. What was Star Force? Is that what they were called?
yeah.
Sure.
It's just
I'm with Kev, where it's
I'm
like, I like
confused
that
on,
she didn't give a fuck,
yeah.
but she gave
She
two
should have
little
given a
fucks.
fuck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's really spilling a
There's
lot
a
of beans
level
about
of
what's happening
politeness that there should
intergalactically.
be to like, hey,
They had bigger problems, man.
Bigger problems.
You
than
had
that.
scrolls there. They can be
Yeah.
anywhere. We don't have time for this. Let's work with the local officials.
Exactly.
What
Plus
she does,
this-
she explains it all to Fury. He doesn't really believe her, and then she saves him from getting shot by a Skrull over on the other roof. She returns fire, then gives chase. This Skrull runs, and Fury chases, and Coulson climbs in the car, and they're driving, and they're going, and they're having a crazy time. And the train, we get to the trains, and we see an old lady that bumps into Captain Marvel, and then Captain Marvel gets on there, and then the Stan Lee cameo, it's great. And then it turns out that, guess what, the old lady is the Skrull. You knew this from the trailer as well. They have a cool fight scene, flippity dippity around the poles, hitting
It's
each other,
cool, but
pushing
also
each other.
this is like when she's hanging off the subway. I'm like, this is kind of anticlimactic because we've already seen her hang off a fucking spaceship at this point. Like we know no matter what happens, she's not in danger. But whatever.
Well, you knew that, period.
A lot of weird editing in the fight. Also,
A little bit. It wasn't
weird.
as exciting as I wanted there to be. There's a couple good there's a couple looks that she gives. And this is weird. Let's get beyond this. Let's just get her.
there's a cameo here. Kelly Sue DeConnick is the creator of the modern version of Carol Danvers that made the jump to the MCU. So it only seems right that the writers should get to jump in on the fun. DeConnick is actually the first person Carol sees once stepping off the train. It's easy to spot thanks to her hair and her signature spectacles.
Oh,
Very nice.
Just
That's
like
cool.
you got your signature spectacle.
I sure do.
Are you
everybody.
Carol DeConnick?
No, I'm every other generic white guy with a beard and these glasses.
Fair point.
Anyways, yeah, they get off and something happens, and it ends up that Coulson's revealed to be a Skrull. And Fury and him Fury jerks the wheel and he gets smashed and killed, and then you see him turn into the thing. And it's like, I know what a Skrull is now, everybody.
Throws his coat over there, which I thought was cool. That was a good moment for Samuel L. Where it's like, what the fuck is that? And then realizes people can't see this. Throws his coat over it.
Yeah. He falls back to Shield base. Captain Marvel just does whatever. I don't remember.
Oh,
She
sorry.
with him now? I don't know.
It was Coulson who called in and was like, "Hey, where are y'all at?"
Yeah,
I'm still at the
left
blockbuster.
us.
What's up? Where'd everyone go? He walks out, no one's there. Like no one.
That
was
scene
funny.
was really brutal. The Samuel Jackson turning into the car wreck
Yeah, that
was
was
like,
cool.
holy shit, that was really violent.
I also thought it explained. I know that Coulson doesn't have much screen time here. I thought it explained why. I thought Coulson was very stiff in the car, and I didn't understand why until it got revealed. And then when he came out of the blockbuster on the phone, I thought it amazing. Oh, that is my Coulson. I do know that Coulson. I recognize
silly
that guy
Coulson. Yeah,
from
kind
these
of
movies. or
comic
whatever.
relief.
Also,
Coulson.
it did say that he was new too. So
Yeah,
that's
no.
maybe.
Well, I know,
Still
but that
rookie.
was my thing. Is like he doesn't seem like. He didn't seem like a rookie trying to blend in stiff. He seemed like a weird, I don't know.
I also felt that.
It seems like Clark Gregg died, and they have him in there as a CGI character.
Well, that was the point, I guess it turned out. And then I don't know. We went. So Fury went back to Shield and had to explain to people that, hey, no, like look at this fucking thing. It's an alien and whatever. And everybody's like, oh man, that's crazy. It's fucking. What are we gonna do? We got to get her, and she knows things about it. We got to get her on our team. All right, cool. And then the director was there the whole time, and then he's like, all right, cool. And then it was that one comedian dude that's like the morgue guy.
The morgue guy from Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad. He's the one that works at the veterinary. He's the vet.
He's the vet in Better Call Saul.
And
I
he's
don't remember
also-
him in Breaking Bad, but he's also in The Office.
Yeah.
He's like the IT guy in The Office.
He's the guy in the office that was like, yeah, all of you look at porn, you did this. Like he's the one who was hiding.
Anyways,
whatever,
he went in the back and jerked off for a second. So the director gets down all alone. He's like, "You'll be avenged." He's like, "Oh, you're a Skrull too." Oh my God. Oh fucking
Hail
Jesus. And so then I don't know. Captain Marvel was just jet setting around. What did she do? She went and got it. This is where she gets her motorcycle jacket and her motorcycle. And
from
she
the guy
takes
being
off.
like, "Hey, smile, sweetie."
Yeah, no,
right,
no,
and then
that
she
shit,
decides to go
yeah.
to the bar for some reason. I can't remember.
Because
why.
she had a flash of that, right? Or she saw him. She had a flash of that.
One of the crystals that she like picked up during the fight scene on the train
Had the address.
She puts it in her arm, and then
Right.
it shows like little data
Flashes of her
stuff. Yeah, and it
memories.
shows
Right.
it shows the
Right,
bar's
right,
name.
right.
Yeah.
And then it exploded, right? And
Right.
It started getting hot. She had to throw it out.
So she went to the bar, and when we get a little pan around of all her memories she's had in this bar, and I'm like, you hang out at a bar a lot.
I like the
That's
visual
cool.
effect of that.
Yeah, me too.
That's fun. And then Samuel L. Jackson just found her.
He shows up because he's fucking Nick Fury, man. He's like, let's talk about it. And so they have a cool sit down where she asks him a million questions to prove that he isn't a Skrull, because Skrulls only have the access to your most recent memories, not
Right.
your like crazy ass.
And she's like, tell me something really obscure that no one else would know that you're embarrassed by. He's like, I can't eat toast if it's cut diagonally.
That's great.
You didn't need that, did you? She's like, no, I didn't need that. I just want to fuck
Great
her.
answer.
That
That
was
was
really,
fun.
really good. And now they're buddies. And now they're going to go off and they're going to find whatever else they need at the thing that they got to go to. So they start going to the thing they need to go to. And like they roll
The
up.
shield,
Wait.
Pegasus, right? Don't they have to go to Pegasus at this
Just
point?
I want to call out to this joke because I really, really enjoyed it. Is when he's like, "Wait a second, how do I know you're not a Skrull?" And she like blows something
Yeah,
up,
yeah,
and he's
yeah.
like, "How would I know
Yeah,
Skrulls
that's
can
great.
do that?"
Yeah,
that's a good point.
That was really, really
That
good.
was really good.
Fun.
A lot of the sort of more actiony scenes with Samuel Jackson show that like he may have a young looking face, but his body's definitely old because he was like
The running.
moving
Yeah,
slow.
yeah.
in these
I
scenes.
saw some meme going around of people was like, how come no one can run in this movie? Like everyone looks
But she can't
super
run for
awkward.
shit either.
Like they're
She's like super
jogging,
bully.
yeah.
I like this next scene though because they roll up to this like NORAD, this Joint Air Force NASA thing, and he uses his shield credentials to get in, but we get a sense that Shield's not as powerful in this, or he's not as powerful as a Shield operative in the 90s as he is now, because they kind of like. He can't really.
He has
because
level 3 or
If this
whatever.
were like now, he would have walked in and everyone would know who he was. He was like the
Are
director
you
of Shield.
familiar
He
with
walked
the
in.
welcome wagon?
Yeah.
This ain't it.
This ain't it.
Great.
They put him in that shitty
Holding
they
room.
put him in the shitty holding room.
Another great funny moment is he takes apart the door
Yeah.
and is all proud, and then the next door she just shoots and he's like,
He's
"What?
like,
what
you sat there and watched me use the
Play
tape.
with tape. And she's like, well, yeah, I didn't want to.
That was great. That was so
great line
good.
about it, yeah.
Goose the cat gets introduced here. He's very cute, and you can tell he'll be important to this
Yeah.
entire tale.
Tell you what, yeah, Samuel L. Jackson with this cat. I thought I was gonna get tired of it. Never did. I watched him play with
I
the
got
cat
tired
all
of the
movie.
CG cat.
CG
He's
cat
like,
was a little
all right,
bit-
Peter, get off everybody's back. Let him hold the cat.
off everyone's
Let him hold the fucking cat.
Well, I didn't think it was that. I just thought cats. Everyone knows cats, untrainable, should all be killed.
Well, that's why you put a Muppet cat in there. Nobody can tell the
But
difference.
also, cats can't do the technical thing. If you didn't know that,
you think about that?"
it's real hard to get them to do it.
Yeah.
You gotta tickle their
Plus, you
butthole.
Never been seen on
You
camera.
can't fit that many tentacles in their mouth.
Yeah.
You gotta push.
I've tried.
You gotta push real hard on the star to get the tentacles to come out.
Too far.
Sometimes you gotta blow it.
No.
I'm leaving.
So they go into the archives. They're digging around for information. They find old photos of Carol Danvers.
Carol Danvers.
She's there. I'm Carol Danvers.
Why does it? Like, we all knew it was coming.
And then they find photos of her with her best friend and partner up in the flight schools and stuff.
Right.
And so like now we're gonna go find her. And then guess what though? The Shield people are coming. They're there because Nick Fury called for help. He was like, "Hey, just a heads up, this is happening here, so I need to report us." So he narked on them themselves. And so all the Shield guys are rolling in, and Coulson's there, and then we have some stuff getting blown up, and they're doing like MacGyver-y things, and there's different things happening, and there's explosions and such. Eventually, Coulson sees them leaving and doesn't call it in, and he's like, "He's a good guy, he's new." And I'm like, "Yeah." And then they take off and they leave, and then they go to the woman's house, the friend's house.
Yeah.
And then they roll up, and she's like,
Don't
"Oh
go
my
chasing
God, you're
waterfalls,
not dead."
baby.
Yeah.
It was playing.
Was it really?
Okay.
Oh, fucking love it. Love the casting here. I don't know the actress that plays the best friend. She's great. The
She's
kid
awesome.
is fucking great.
Kid's amazing too.
A regret for this movie though was we don't really get to see their interaction a lot from when they were flight buddies.
Yep.
And we get moments
taste of it.
We get
Yeah.
a taste of it, but I would have
gone
liked
for more.
to have seen a couple scenes where they actually where we see Carol Danvers back in the day because really, we don't really get a sense of who she was.
LaShawn
And that's my
Lashana
problem.
Lynch.
I feel like this movie's pacing and not pacing, structure.
Yeah.
Is very unique, and they tried to be like, we're doing something different than other origin movies, and I don't think it necessarily worked because I would have rather just see them be them together.
I think it would have been nice.
They were great, man.
Because I think some of the stuff that we get with her when she was younger, the go-kart stuff, the beach stuff, like it kind of plays, but we don't really ever get a moment where we see, hey, Carol Danvers is this person that's really, really fucking like trying to like forge her way into this man's world. She's the strong, confident person that's like the first test pilot that NASA's ever had that's female. We get expository like moments where they're like, oh, this was you, but we don't get her to see her in that
told,
skin.
you're not shown.
Wow, we're not shown that.
Right.
And that's unfortunate.
That's a great point. I did think it was driven home, but you're right that we don't see it, right? Because it is
like we don't get that moment.
She has that line, right, when they're trying to catch up with like what happened, and she's like, remember she said lives were at stake, and then Carol finishes the line, right, of lives are at stake on
so
flying
I wanted
or whatever.
to we don't ever get to see that, right? Like to contrast that with the beginning of I talked about this First Man, Ryan Gosling movie. Starts with him like in this test plane and it goes bad and he's got to figure out how to fucking save like himself or get himself out of this situation, and we get a sense for what he's cut, like the cloth he's cut from, right? We never really get that with Carol. We don't see her sacrificing something. We don't see her bucking the system.
Yeah,
we're just sort of told, and that sucks. And then at the end where we see all that great montage where she's standing back up,
Yeah, that was awesome.
It doesn't feel as earned as it should be because we don't actually see her having that argument with her dad. We just see her dad going, "Why would you do that?" Which is a very like, I mean, if I were her dad, I'd be like, "Hey, why'd you do that? You went too fast and you almost killed yourself."
Yeah, I think we were told twice that she had a bad relationship with her parents, and it wasn't enough. I agree with that.
Like we needed to see a moment where the boys were like, "You can't do this," and she goes, "I can do this."
Did we though? Because I thought without any of the dialogue in those stand-up scenes, we got it. And like, it's a cockpit, that kind of shit. Like, I feel like they're kind of damned if they do, damned if they don't. Because if they would have done all that, we would have been like, we get it. You're wasting our time. Like, this is a story we've heard.
Fair, but I think that we're just supposed to get it because we're supposed to have seen scenes like that in other movies, and we're supposed to get the fact that these are the scenes. But I think that moves the story along. It does not move the character along. And unfortunately, the main character in this, I think in a lot of ways is a little more backgroundy, similar to like Black Panther, where like I think all the characters in Black Panther were great except for Chiwetel Ejiofor, Chadwick Boseman, excuse me, who was just kind of boring the entire time. But in this, it's like if all of his stuff.
Chadwick
Boseman. I never phrase. Anyway, I beat that point over there. You guys get it. Let's move on.
Okay.
I was just really quick gonna say a fun little like Easter egg thing is the daughter. She is like eventually becomes a hero in the comics.
Who does she become?
She becomes Photon, which is in the picture where they show the mom in her plane, her name. It has her name and Photon in the middle as her nickname.
Oh, nice.
That's a
With
weird.
the other one's Avenger.
That's
really
a weird
cool.
nickname for a pilot.
Well,
she-
she goes fast.
Photon blast, baby.
Sure.
And then also,
Now, the cooler thing about
She
that
eats a ton
Easter
of
egg
pho.
is if you do think about the timing of how young she is
Yeah.
compared to Endgame.
I
Ah.
doubt.
But compared to Marvel modern times.
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean?
There is
Cool
also another scene a little later where what's his name? SLJ is talking to her, and she's like, "Oh, like I want to like hang out with them," and he's like, "Well, you have to glow and fly," and that's
Who's SLJ?
That's what she does later.
I hate
Yeah.
you so much. Go die.
That's cool.
in fire.
So she shows up, as we've already covered. We get the awesome interaction between her and her best friend, the kid. The kid, I thought it was so adorable when the kid's like running down the list of
Yeah.
like things she wants to show her and do and blah blah.
Yeah.
And then like they show the photos and explaining to her who she was and all that stuff. All this cool stuff's happening. But then the Skrull walks in drinking a soda, and then the science Skrull, who we don't know yet, is out back dressed with the mom or as the mom with the kid. And it's like, oh man, it's this tense standoff. And then he starts explaining like, no, we're the good guys. You know, the Kree are actually the bad guys. They've been fucking running us out of town forever.
Right.
We just want to chill out. Can we stop?
Yeah, the war's over. We've lost. We just want to go get someplace to safety
Yeah,
and
yeah.
live our lives
And-
in peace.
As somebody who is not familiar with the comics and understands that the Skrulls are always bad people, this was like a really cool twist for me. And I could understand why like some of the hardcore comics fans would be annoyed with this because this is very
Are they?
like
I don't think anyone
I've
is.
heard,
Really?
yeah, because it's similar.
Thank God they did this twist.
It's similar
dude.
to people like being mad about the Mandarin not being who he was and stuff like that.
That's great.
I think that was a
thought it
much
was
bigger
really
deal.
I thought it was awesome. I really
was.
enjoyed this twist. It
Well,
really threw. I had no.
I think-
I did not see
Sorry,
it
go
coming.
ahead.
Sorry.
No, you're right. But I also think that if they think that they're being incredibly short-sighted, right? Because again, this is a prequel that now gives it gives any Skrull you want to go bad a great motivation, right? Of like, these people fucked us over forever and nobody gave us our just dues.
Totally.
So I'm going to stay on Earth and be this person and take over and do it.
Alyssa did look up right after we watched the movie of like how like Secret Invasion like happens and stuff, because that was my first comment. I was like, oh, now that they're like kind of good, like we can't have that. And one of the things that she picked up on was that Skrulls were like peaceful and stuff in the beginning, so they still had the chance to
Go back.
maybe a separate group or something
Sure,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Separatist group.
So it's all. Well,
I was just gonna say Kree have always been bad, like from the other movies that we've seen, and it was cool that like they like maintained that and didn't like switch them up as
yeah, we saw at the end when I was talking to Jen about it, I was like, I can't believe I didn't know anything and I didn't see it coming. She's like, how did you not see it coming? She's like, during the Alamo draft pre-show where they explained Captain Marvel, they talked about like she's always interested in stopping the Kree and stopping Thanos, and I was like, I don't even know the factions well enough that I must have thought they said Skrull or
Yeah.
Ben Skrull.
I mean, they set all that stuff up in Guardians as well. The Kree stuff being bad.
Yeah.
And it's like that's why this movie just feels like
Because
weirdly
Ronan was
placed to
Kree,
me.
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And we get that scene too at some point where Ronan calls in the hologram, and it's kind of fun.
I actually really like that. Like we got a little bit more explanation because I don't know anything about or very much about the Kree, so it was cool to like kind of have an understanding of where Ronan came. Like
Yeah, to
where
see
he
him
fit in-
not
yeah.
be the rogue Kree, because that was the
Yeah.
thing with Guardians. I got the impression, and this is me. I wasn't paying attention, but I got the impression that he was a rogue Kree.
I
Like
think,
general, right?
I think later he is, but I think there's some bullshit happening where he's still working with the Kree in the same position.
Because you get that he's
Yeah.
just kind of like doing this on his own.
Yeah.
But I also like that this movie kind of sets up his knowledge of the Power Stones, right?
Yeah.
Kind of get that at the end, right? Or am I crazy misreading into that?
I didn't get that
Because he talks about the weapon, like wanting to come back for the weapon.
Well, the
which is
weapon was
woman.
her, right?
But but you have to. Do you think that on some level he was like, "What the fuck caused her to be that powerful?" And then like learned about the Tesseract, learned about the Infinity Stones, then goes, "Oh, I want to go after the Power Stone."
Well, no, because he's working under Thanos.
Oh,
He
right,
doesn't even
Thanos
know
is the
what
one
it
that sends him. Yeah, maybe we're getting more of this in Captain Marvel too.
Maybe.
Lee Pace without the eye makeup.
I
which
like
made
Lee
him look
Pace.
very weird.
Yeah, he needs the eye makeup. That looked so weird.
That was bizarre. Yeah.
It's like
It's like
not
seeing your
even-
dad in underwear. You know.
So the
You see my dad
guy,
in
they're going to
underwear?
retrofit the plane to go back up to the space thing that's in space that the science guy couldn't put together, but
That's
they put
so
together.
fucking
Very
funny.
funny, very funny. They get up there, they find
He's just, 'cause he
it's
goes like this, he's
abandoned.
like, where were you? You're my science guy. The cut to me goes.
Yeah.
He just
no
sucks his
dialogue.
eye.
I'm glad.
Okay.
It sucks because it's like for a
It's so
moment I was
fucking
like,
funny.
"Fuck, I know exactly what he's feeling."
Yeah.
Clarification question here, because I went to the bathroom at one point.
Sure.
Why did the best friend go up to space with them?
Because
Why-
the kid
daughter
has
go on.
a great, but it's like the best scene in the whole fucking movie, where she goes, I can't come with you.
I have a kid.
Because Carol's like, I need you to come with me, like, just to help. And she goes, I can't come with you. I got this. She wanted to hang out with her friend, basically. And her kid looks at her and goes, what kind of example are you setting for your child if you don't go help your friend right now? And like, who do you want me to be?
I
And
did
this
see
is
that.
a huge mission.
Yeah, it's a huge mission. It's very
space,
important.
yeah.
Like, what kind of example are you setting for me? She's like, damn, okay.
But
and
like-
goes with her.
So plot. That's why.
Yeah,
Plot,
I
To
thought
give
that
her
was a
friend something to
really,
do.
I thought that was a really shitty moment because it's like, no, dude, what person would leave their kid on this mission that sounds like a suicide mission to me?
Seriously.
Yeah,
Like that-
there's a bunch of bad guys
Well,
out
but
there.
I got that someone
They're
like
human.
I got that
Yeah.
someone needed to pilot the plane while she went onto the thing and like
the
figured out what's
science
going
guy
on.
could have done it.
We don't.
He's
Science
a
guy,
science
we've
guy.
already proven is completely inept.
No,
He just hits the eject
Clearly,
button and shoots over.
clearly they were like this. Our other science guy died. Let's get the guy that moves shit to be science
the
guy
science
today.
guy literally retrofitted those helicarriers. Like
Quinjet.
Yeah,
Quinjet.
Quinjet.
It was a
That's
prequel
what it
to the
is. Yeah,
Quinjet.
the prequel to the Quinjet to go into space. I think he knows how to. Like, I'm sure he could
We
pilot
got
it.
honestly, it's just to get
Yeah.
the best friend doing something,
Yeah.
and we get that last scene where the best friend kills Minerva, and it's cool. That's it.
Also, I think we forgot to mention that like they steal the precursor to the Quinjet, and the cat's in there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The
Yeah.
He's like, that's not a cat. That's a flubber.
We're not there yet, are we?
A flurkin.
Oh no,
No, yeah,
no,
he
no,
said
no.
it.
Well, he says it, but then they're like, "What are you talking about? It's just a cat."
Yeah.
And it's not until they get caught by the Kree on the
That we
ship
see
that they
this-
do the scan and like,
Yeah.
Flurkin, threat level 9, human, no present
Threat level
active
0.
threat. Yeah,
Almost no threat whatsoever.
And
He's like,
Fury's
what
like,
the fuck? Yeah, that was great.
So yeah, as you know, they got up there, they talked to the Skrulls, they got reunited. It was very sweet. They're gonna figure it all out. They have the Tesseract in a lunchbox, but guess what? Afon's lunchbox.
Love it.
You gonna bring that up when you
Winkler?
interview Henry
yeah.
Wink?
Yeah, totally. Now.
And then guess what? The Kree show up and they're like, they do the scans and they put them in the fucking thing and we're all going away now. And then stuff happens.
A lot of stuff.
Fate. I'm not. I'm.
A lot of explosions.
We
chained
leave
up.
the ship. She gets. Oh, is that where we're at already?
Well, yeah,
Okay.
because randomly this is the moment, thankfully, timing wise,
Oh, and they
that
talk to the
worked
AI
out
or whatever.
where Jude
Screaming.
Law and the people just come in. They just randomly walk
It's a
in.
movie.
Well, you would think that they would have assaulted the ship or maybe had some sort of security level on this gigantic, massive ship, but no, everyone could just come and go as they please on this thing. So they come in and they wreck
This
shit.
is the Tesseract reveal, right?
Yeah, it was in the lunchbox.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so they, what do? They capture
wasn't
her,
in
right?
We already said all this. They're captured. Yeah.
we
they
get the
got
scene
him.
with Annette Bening.
Yeah,
where
they put
she's
they
like,
put her
boom.
in, they put Captain Marvel into
Control.
the Supreme Being or whatever, where she reveals, like, oh no, we fucking did this and you got it through the thing and the blast and all this shit and like.
And she realizes that they didn't give her the power. She was given the power by the Tesseract. The power is hers, not theirs,
Yeah.
and therefore they can't control her.
So
They
she
can't
kinda
give or take
overloads
away.
everything with the
we see the chick go,
powers.
which could have been actually a much better moment, but
Yeah.
because it was underneath her hair, I was like, we should have probably seen that.
Yeah.
But in the AI, she takes it out herself.
Yeah.
And then you start seeing her fucking come up, and then we get a scene that I'm conflicted about. Again, because I said I don't think it was as earned as it needed to be, but we get that fucking great shot that we saw in the trailer of her through all of the ages standing up.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, you know what? Fuck it. This is awesome. Plays, and then she gets into a hand-to-hand fist fight with all these people and doesn't just burn them to death. She beats them up a little bit, and they kind of beat her up a little bit, and then like 5 minutes later, we see her burning through Ronan's ships, and I'm like, I think
Fucking
she would not
corkscrewing.
have. I think this scene would have gone a lot different way in reality, where she would have gone up and just like,
You
you're
gotta
all
imagine-
fucking
friends
dead.
on the ship
Yeah,
then?
You're all
yeah.
dead. What's that?
Her friends were on the ship though, right?
No, but she was like, I'll stay here and be a diversion with the lunchbox while you guys get out of here. In reality, she could have just annihilated
Eviscerated
everyone
everybody.
that was fucking there.
But like, you gotta imagine, this is her squad. Like, for the last 6 years,
She probably didn't wanna
they've
kill
been
them.
friends.
Yeah.
So violently blowing their heads up.
Fair.
Probably not like the immediate plan.
But I also, we get a couple moments where she doesn't quite know how to do her powers, where she
Yeah.
blows someone away and then
Yeah.
she gets knocked back to by him. She's like, what the fuck was that? So I get that she's sort of figuring it
Figuring it all
out,
out,
which
yeah.
is kind of cool. And it's a fun scene. And then the Quinjet takes off, and I think he's like, go get her. And Gemma Chan's like, I'll get her. And then they have a cool, and then they literally
Dogfight.
recreate the scene
Independence
from
Day.
Independence Day.
Independence Day,
where
where
they're
they're-
going through the canyons, and then she's like, welcome to Earth.
That would have been awesome. They should have just done it. They should have just
Right.
fucking all been in on it.
I like also, by the way, that there was a line that was hidden in there. What they set up where she was like, "Have you ever been to?" The group's talking, and they're like, "Have you ever been to Earth before or whatever? It's C552 or whatever." And Minerva goes, "Yeah, I've been there once. It was a shithole." And you realize they were there when they went and attacked them originally and picked up Captain
Yeah,
Marvel, which I
good
thought was
call,
cool.
good call.
So they all kind of knew what the fuck was going on. So
Yeah,
and
exactly.
thus shit.
Yeah, everything's
Just
blown
eviscerate
up.
all
She's
of them.
fucking flying through ships. It's awesome. Yeah,
It's cool. They get in the dogfight.
Yeah.
She falls out of the ship into space and realizes she can fly, which is cool. Like we get that moment where she's falling and it just goes, instead of freaking out, she just closes her eyes for a second and you don't even see her fly. It just goes right before she hits the ground. They cut away, and then you see fucking spark.
But that was
She
the
comes.
worst CGI in the whole movie. Her falling.
it was really bad.
It was really bad.
A lot of
They did it practically. They threw.
Yeah, I didn't love a lot of the facial stuff where her mohawk comes. Like some of that just looks kind of, I liked how I thought it
love
looked cool. Like the look of it was cool, but the implementation of it wasn't as clean as it should have been.
Another moment we missed that I kind of want to touch on is when she's at her best friend's house. She's hanging out with the little kid, which that's my favorite relationship.
The jacket, I like the jacket where she's like, "Where's my jacket? Oh, I spilled ketchup on it."
Mom will have it since
That's great.
But she has that moment where she's like, "I'm gonna change these colors."
Yeah,
And like they
that's
go
awesome.
and they're figuring out colors.
And she looks down at the girls
shirt,
at the girls' Air Force shirt, which is not the Air Force colors, but whatever, it's fine.
Still fucking dope. And I love when it goes to full Andy Cortez, vibrant neon colors.
Oh, I would have definitely loved this. That was cool.
I think one small detail that I've really enjoyed at watching all of these Marvel movies, and it's something that I didn't necessarily notice at the beginning, was how all of the different races have their technology and how it all looks and how it's all implemented. Where like we saw with Black Panther, when they use their technology, it's
That
like
shit's
that.
cool.
It's like that sort of
That
3D
thing that you put your hand in.
yeah,
like
it's
the
a
metal
very
thingy.
3D sort of tactile thing, but the Kree have their own like hologram looking thing, and they're all super different when you really look at it and study it. And I think it's really cool how they, like, you could tell they have groups that make sure that they have groups at Marvel making sure like, oh, this group has this technology, this group has this. It's really cool and like
smart.
super detailed.
So she downs pretty easily. What's his name's plane? Jude Law's plane, right?
Yeah,
it's about to fuck him up, and then
he's
Ronan
like,
comes.
you could take what?
No, Ronan comes first and shoots all those giant things at. Because they were like, don't call Ronan in, right? They set it up earlier. Don't call him in because he'll just bomb the shit out of this planet for no reason, kill everyone. That's who Ronan is.
how you
Ronan
get
doesn't
rid of a
fuck around.
problem, you know what I mean?
So Ronan comes with the cool twisty ships, the Kree ships.
We remember these.
And shoots what seems to be like 500 missiles at this thing.
Sure.
Shot them all.
But
at once.
she grabs the first one, throws it back in, destroys them all. We get the scene where Ronan's on the bridge. Is like, that shouldn't be possible. What the fuck's going on?
That's not right.
I'm gonna bounce.
And then straight up, fucking,
Well, she
just fucking annihilates hundreds of people on these ships.
Yeah.
Must be.
They had it
these
coming,
ships
they're
have to be
bad
well,
hundreds.
those
Kills
weird
the
like
first two.
necro monster people.
And instead of just going right through Ronan's ship, she kind of looks at him and goes, just get the fuck out. Like, get out. And he's like, well, we better bounce because this person could clearly kill us, but for whatever reason is not killing us. It's just going to let us go.
we got other movies to get
We
to.
got other movies to get to. Let's bounce. But we'll be back for Earth. No, not for Earth. For the weapon. What's the weapon? Oh, she's the weapon. It's obscure. I don't understand why this was referenced, but whatever. We're leaving. Back to the Jude Law scene.
Yeah, and so he gets up and he's like, hey, you could kill me with your powers, but I've always said you should be. And then she just
Hand to
blasts
hand,
him.
hand to hand.
Yeah.
She's blasting him. She's
Yeah,
like, I don't
awesome.
need to prove anything to you.
Yeah,
I
and she
love
shoves
that.
shoves him in his little baby carrier. And
Proves to
she's
me
like,
that I don't
tell
shit to
everybody
prove to
I
you,
fucking can
motherfucker.
kill everybody. Go away.
That's
Yeah.
the best fucking line
and then
in the movie.
shoots it, and then it like turns the thing on.
Well, she powers
Overloads
it.
the engine so he can't stop
She has
it.
the
yeah.
power of the Tesseract in her.
Yeah,
It's in
She has the power of the Power Stone. Is it the Power Stone? Which one is it?
No, that was the
Tesseract.
Tesseract. The
What's that one
Space
called?
Stone, isn't it?
Space Stone.
yeah.
She has
Yeah.
the Space Stone, Tim.
You're right. I guess
Sends
you're
it to space.
right.
So yeah,
Logical.
Cool.
Now it's all good in the hood, bro. We all
good.
finished it. Everything's good.
And she's like, I gotta go.
She gives Fury
I
a souped
gotta
up
go.
pager. Well, there had been a pager joke earlier. Like, if you ever need me, you can call me on this. Blah 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 blah.
Only for extreme emergencies. Only if you really, 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 really need me.
Right.
Not when all the space people were coming from the Avengers.
Yeah, not what it looks like. This
The
Earth-
Avengers
They
had
had
that.
that handled. They had that handled.
I mean, they almost didn't at several moments.
Also,
Very close to not having it handled.
I'm sure it takes it sounds like, well, but with the end thing, it's a couple weeks for her to actually get to back. So
We'll
like
see.
maybe he hit her up and was like, then responded
Hey,
like,
actually,
never mind.
we got
Oh,
this.
sorry, they got it.
I did read.
Oops, my bad.
I did read that Kevin Feige, how he was defending this,
Right.
And he did say, "How do we know she hasn't been called yet? We don't know that.
Yeah, maybe
We
she
haven't-
was off doing something else.
We haven't seen Samuel Jackson ever do that, or SLJ. Sorry.
Yeah, because everyone was like, "That's weird. Why would he wait till now to do it?
Yeah.
Why not earlier?"
Good
And,
call,
and
good
Kevin
call.
Feige's like, "Maybe he did. She just
Yeah.
didn't come back."
I hope they have a cutscene later of him just fucking calling her all the time.
Or just be like, "Yo," just hit her up like, "Yo, what's she been up to?"
So she shoots off with them.
She gets the
Samuel
jacket
Jackson
first,
sits
though.
there. Yep, she gets the
The
jacket.
kid hands the jacket back. Boom, ready to rock and roll. See you later, kid. You're gonna be.
I
a
can't wait for
summer
her
suit.
in other movies. I
She's
think
gonna
she's
be
going to
other
be
stuff.
so fucking great. In
Takes
anything
off
else.
with the world engine or whatever the fuck it is.
The world
The
engine.
light-
That's from DCEU.
Sorry, takes off with the ship. Right, powers the ship. I don't know how the hell where they're going with this thing, but they go
Going
off.
out to
They go
space,
off into
man.
the
Go
world.
beef.
in a
Let's find the
galaxy far, far away.
Skrulls
Yeah.
a planet where they're gonna have a whole bunch of morphin babies. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Mighty
Morphin baby.
morphin tiny baby.
Yeah, dude.
Are they bugs? Are they plants? Mighty morphin. Because they're babies. They have to be small things.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Can you morph into a refrigerator or no? File cabinet. File cabinet.
Why would I want to do that?
So great. And yeah, then what we talked about earlier, yeah, they're back. We're back. Well, a long time ago, by the way, they kept playing with how he's going to lose his eye, and eventually he got a cat scratch fever.
Did the cat just scratch his eye? That was it.
Yeah, well, it wasn't a cat, it's a flurfer.
Flurkin.
And then
So
also the
it's-
flurfin I thought was actually cool too with the tentacles. We never
Yep.
talked about any of that shit, but yeah.
Just
It was
eating people
really
constantly?
understated that the cat just I was like, oh, it's gonna heal, and then they show it later, and it's like pussing and fucking huge. I'm like,
man,
yeah.
cat scratches will fuck you up, man.
Man,
Let alone
it-
a flurfins.
In that scene where it scratches his eye, they had the great moment with the scroll where he's like, it'll heal. And the scroll in the background is just like,
No. Whoa.
Yeah.
It's just like, I love these scrolls.
I also
so
love
fucking
too
much.
because when they asked, there was a reference. I forget what movie where he talks about how
Winter Soldier.
Was it Winter Soldier? It was like the last time I trusted someone like closely, I got this.
Yeah.
And it's just the cat scratching.
Well, that's
his
why
eye.
it's great when
I'm
Coulson's
that's so
like, "Is
weird.
it true you lost it by scroll torture or whatever?" He's like, "I won't
It's
confirm or deny
classified.
that." Yeah. It's like, "I'm gonna tell people that's what
I got a
it was."
big laugh in the theater.
Yeah, that's great. That was
Yeah.
great. And so then he does the Avenger thing that
Yeah.
we're not. I agree was a little too on the nose or whatever. And then we Captain Marvel, yay. And then it's mid credits, and we get the mid credits, and it picks up right in Endgame, and it's so fucking good.
Fucking
God
great.
damn it!
Let's
It's one of the reasons I love this movie, and I was
Wish I would've
talking.
seen it.
I was talking to Jen. I felt like
Such a
I know on this
dumbass.
show I talked about like I felt for me personally that Ant-Man and the Wasp came around. I was just like, no, like I don't want this story right now, right? But a month before Endgame
Oh,
to
yeah.
get a prequel to the woman who's going to be a big part of Endgame, you assume and fix. I was like, I was so in on getting that backstory, blah, blah, blah. And then to have it snap from the fun songs and the fun everything and the fun different kind of origin story to being like, no, here's where we are. Remember?
So what we got? ScarJo, Chris Evans, and Ruffalo, right?
And Rhodey.
yeah.
Oh, and Don Cheadle, John Cheadle. Anyway, and they're like they're
Don Cheadle.
Tabulating
Cheadle.
how many people are
Cheadle.
missing.
right,
Yeah.
tabulating how many people are missing, and then the thing runs out of juice again or whatever. They're like, fire it back up.
Well, it didn't run
Wherever
out of
it's-
juice. Period. It stopped. It
just stopped translating.
And they're like, "What happened
Translating.
to
What happened?
the pager? Stopped doing its thing. It's been doing this thing forever. It stopped doing it. What does that
Right.
mean? Well, maybe
And
we'll
you're-
fire it up. Blah blah blah.
What
Why
a-
would we do that? We don't know what it is.
Fucking great scene where he's like, I don't know, but Fury thought it was important, so fire it up again. And you're assuming that they're gonna fire it up and get a response back, and the camera just cuts, and she's just standing behind him, and she's
Where's
like,
Fury?
"Where's Fury?"
And this
they're
is
like,
why,
"What the fuck? How did you get here?"
This is why I fucking love it so much, is because I love the MCU when it takes me by surprise and I
Yeah.
don't see something coming.
just standing there.
And I'm like, oh my God, you guys are way smarter than me, and I couldn't write this movie. It's like that's when I'm like, this is very impressive. A long time ago, I was like, what if fucking Captain Marvel got dusted?
Yeah.
And I was like, that would have been fucking awesome. I would have loved it. Let's have Endgame just be our heroes and all this, because the last thing I want is her to come in, be this Deus Ex Machina, like fix all the problems, right?
Right.
I love what this tells us, because this tells us that looking at his Captain still has the beard, she's still blonde, all this stuff's going on. This is gonna be so early in the movie where we're gonna have Captain Marvel from the beginning of Endgame, and that's awesome.
Yeah, that's cool.
Like that to me, I'm like, okay, totally great. Like I just didn't want her to come in the third act,
very,
you know
very
what I
end,
mean?
just
And
save the
whatever.
day.
This is awesome.
Like how the army pops into Jurassic World 3 or Jurassic Park 3. They just all of a sudden put the whole Navy. It's bullshit.
Don't ever talk about it.
Sorry. Anyway, yeah, I missed that whole post-credit scene. I had to go poop. I felt real bad.
How was the poop though? Was it good?
Man, it was freeing.
Worth it then.
Yeah.
freeing.
And
always- you can always Google
halfway
the
through the
ending.
movie, I was like, "This might be an emergency." And then
Andy got a page of his own.
I sort of like adjusted
adjust
myself
everything.
in the seat, and I was like, "All right, now I'm good. I'm good for now."
Pushed it back
But
up.
as soon as the credits hit, peace, dog. Like later.
And so then the final credit scene is the Flurfin throwing up the Tesseract on Fury's desk.
Yeah.
That was great.
The Avengers will return.
Did it say that?
No.
No.
It said
I think it's a Captain Marvel return in Endgame though.
No, I missed that part.
Yeah.
I don't know how, but anyways, very cool. Now it's time for a little thing called Ragu Bagu.
Dun 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 down.
Ragu.
Dun 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 down.
Bagu.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Rad Guys Talk Bad Guys, the podcast within a podcast. Of course, follow us on Twitter at RaguBaguVids. Still popping, I hear.
Still popping.
I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside the Hispanic heartthrob Andy Cortez.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm a
and
rad guy
as
talking
you
bad
know,
guy. Yeah.
we have been ranking the MCU.
Did you take me out of this?
You weren't part of the MCU,
Yeah.
Ragu Bagu, so
What?
fuck off.
What is this, the 90s?
I
Is
get
this a
grandfathered
prequel?
in
You're an
now.
audience member now.
I don't know.
I get
Fine.
grandfathered in because I'm part of the. Remember,
No.
you say
I
big
think I'm
dog, and I
supposed
go.
to be.
I think with him
this
arguing
too.
now, should he even be in it at all ever again?
No, never again.
I want you guys to know I haven't said a word.
So we rank all of the bad guys in the MCU. Currently, there are 31 on the list.
That's a lot of
Let's
them.
recap. At 31, you have these fucks from
There's
Thor
only
2.
23 movies.
Oh, remember we put the X-Men in here too.
And we put Solo.
Vision from Solo.
Number 30, these ducks from Wolverine. Number 29, Abomination. Number 28, Apocalypse, duh. Number 27, Doesn't Matter, Deadpool 2. Number 26, Ronin and Guardians. Number 25, Cross and Ant-Man. Number 24, that lady from Ghost. Number 23, Magneto / Phoenix X3. Number 22, Loki and Thor. Number 21, Obadiah Stane. Number 20, Mandarin / Aldrich. Number 19, The Vision from Solo. Number 18, Mass / Dormammu. Number 17, Magneto Brotherhood.
Hold on,
Number
can Nick do
six-
the Dormammu? Dormammu.
I'm Dormammu.
There you go.
Number 16,
Dormammu.
Number 16, The Dink in the Sentinels. Number 15, Rockwell Mickey. Number 14, The Red Skull. Number 13, Francis Angel Deadpool. Number 12, Ultron. Number 11, Hydra Captain America Winter Soldier. Number 10, Stryker. Number 9, Pierce Logan X-24. Number 8, Baconator First Class. Number 7, Ego Guardians 2. Number 6, Hell / Grand Mass Thor Rag. Number 5, Loki Avengers. Number 4, Bacon Guy Civil War. Number 3, MBJ BP. Number 2, The Vulture. Number 1, Thanos in Avengers Infinity War.
Wow,
Where
what
do
a
you want to
list.
put fucking the Kree?
What's his face?
Jude Law, I guess.
Jude
would be the
Law.
bad guy,
Jude Law
right?
and the Kree.
But I mean, you also have Ben Mendelsohn as like kind of a bad
Jude-
guy. half
No, the
of
Skrulls don't count as bad guys.
Yeah.
That's
No,
what
they're
hurts
great.
it.
The
Jude
Skrulls
Law
are great.
Kree.
Jude Law and the Kree sounds like a dope band name.
Yeah, it's a great band name.
Jude Law and the Kree.
You want to look at it? I know it's
Yeah,
a lot.
yeah,
He's
very
definitely
good.
above Francis Angel Deadpool. Is he above Ultron?
Yeah.
Is he above Hydra? I don't know.
I feel like
No.
the reveal was
I think
so cool.
I think he goes at 13.
It's not a
below,
bad call.
Below Ultron?
Yeah. James Spader, come on. He's
Okay, I'm
awesome.
in with that. I'm
All
in
right,
with
cool.
that.
Good voice, you
Yeah,
know what I mean?
great voice actor.
Great body too. Kept getting bigger.
Oh, I thought you meant James Spader.
He did actually gain a lot of
yeah.
weight.
Big kid.
That's what I
Big
meant.
kid. Wow.
So
there's
at
the
number
list.
13, Kree Jude Lad. It autocorrected to Lad, so he's
Okay.
not Jude Lad.
Lad.
Fantastic.
So right above Francis Angel and Deadpool, right below Ultron.
Man, no wigs to talk about, no abs to talk about in this movie.
We got
Shocking.
yeah, we just didn't do them.
I mean,
Was there a wig to talk about?
I think Brie Larson, whatever was happening on Brie Larson's head the entire movie was just
Really?
terrible.
That was just the effects from whenever she would put on the suit and take it off, right? It would go,
Something was happening.
yeah.
Okay,
But it wasn't
give it
a
to me.
wig.
Give it to me.
Something.
You know what? No, stop it. Give it to me.
is it a wig? I don't know. We're wigging out with Scarpino.
I can't.
Give it to me.
I can't quite put my finger on it. Okay. But Brie Larson's hair the entire time was off. I'm not going to go out and say that it was a wig or maybe it was extensions. It wasn't moving like normal
Really?
hair. Okay. It just wasn't normal. And it was off putting. There's a part where she goes and blows it out. And it's just like when Greg puts a wig on and just enjoys life.
I bring the sexy back.
Yeah. As far as abs, no abs to report in this
Okay.
movie, unfortunately.
Fantastic.
But there was some suspect hair. That's all I'll say for this.
Okay.
That's all I'll say.
What about SLJ's hair? How'd you feel
That
about that?
was-
Oh.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank
You know
you,
what,
Kevin.
You're
Kevin,
welcome.
You know what,
You're
Kevin?
welcome. Thank you.
You're officially the second member of Wigging Out.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's
Got
great.
kicked off of Ragu Bagu.
Fuck you guys.
I got kicked out. I'm just saying.
Hey, I didn't mean
Don't touch me! Wing it out, filth!
I thought his hair was at first off-putting, but that's only because I'm so used to Samuel L. Jackson
Yeah.
being bald. I thought it was fine.
There were some weird
and then
moments.
Greg
at
Clarkson, or
angles.
what's his name?
Yeah.
Greg
Clark
Duke.
Gregg. Clark Gregg.
Clark
Two
Duke
G's on the Greg.
was
end.
his hair was just
3 Gs, I
wild.
guess.
That was just a bad wig too.
Is Greg Duke the leader of the of the KKK?
What?
David Duke.
David Duke.
David
There we
Duke.
go. My bad.
Why, oh man, one episode MCU where Tim predicts another 9/11 and you're talking about the
Another
Grand Wizard of the
9/11.
KKK.
Topher Grace.
Jesus.
Topher Grace.
Yeah, Topher Grace. Yeah.
Over Grace.
That's it for Wicked
Yeah,
Out.
there were.
I'm not talking about
And that's it for Wicked Out.
There were angles where Samuel Jackson was like at a 3/4
Yeah,
angle, and you
it's-
could see the wig kind of like floating on his skull. It was really
I thought
weird.
it looked super digital the whole time.
Really?
Yeah.
It was really laser cut. He got a good lineup for
Yeah,
sure.
dude, that's sweet, sweet lineup. Give me a little haiku and review.
7 syllables in the middle. You'll need 5 for the first and last line. If you're not poetic, no need to fret it. Haikus don't need to rhyme. Haiku in review. Haiku in review. Everybody now stop.
Let's see. Ignacio Rojas writes in and says, "Fun times all around. Did she just go Super Saiyan? I miss you, Coulson."
Ooh. That's a great one.
And now we got a real good one from Jay Pimentel. Coulson let Nick go, which allowed Carol to glow.
Whoa.
But Kat stole the show.
Whoa! Didn't need a rhyme, but it's fine.
Tensa says,
I think
"Best
it
Dragon
was-
Ball Z movie we'll ever see. Can't wait for Endgame."
I can't believe I never put the connection between going Super Saiyan and what she does.
Oh, yeah.
Trevor Starkey, Stan Lee as Stan Lee. Prepping Mallrats cameo. What a great idea. It was a great idea.
So good.
And then finally, Weissmark says, "Vote Coulson 2020. Marvel, how about Carvel?" That was your fault.
Like
I don't
James
know.
Carvel?
I think like Carvel? Carl?
I don't know.
What about like
Carl.
I thought it meant like she drove a car in the movie or
What
something.
about like Carvel cakes, like right? Like
the hell's
fudgy
a
wudgy,
Carvel
fudgy
cake?
whale or whatever.
Can you delete that one?
Yeah, I'm
Weissmark?
just
You
gonna
delete
leave
that
it.
for
Sorry,
me,
dude.
please.
I did it. That's a Craig Harris
Appreciate
reference.
you though. Definitely appreciate
Doesn't
you.
sound like he does. I'm being honest.
All right, now it's time for us to rank the Marvel Cinematic Universe. God, this one's gonna be hard to read back later. What's up? Nick?
Oh, you're gonna do the whole thing?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
dude.
go for
Number
it.
1, Avengers: Infinity War. Number 2, Spider-Man: Homecoming. Number
good.
3, Captain America: Civil War. Number 4, Thor: Ragnarok. Number 5, Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Number 6, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Number 7, Avengers. Number 8, Guardians of the Galaxy. Number 9, Iron Man. Number 10, Black Panther. Number 11, Doctor Strange. Number 12, Ant-Man and the Wasp. Number 13, Ant-Man. Number 14, Iron Man 2. Number 15, Avengers: Age of Ultron. Number 16, Captain America: The First Avenger. Number 17, Iron Man 3. Number 18, The Incredible Hulk. Number 19, Thor. Number 20, Thor: The Dark World.
I'm gonna throw this out there. I think that we should start the deliberation at 13
It's a great spot. It's a great
because
spot.
I feel like this movie is better than the bottom 14 through 20.
I would start it at 14.
You gonna start? So you
So wait.
think that Iron Man 2 might
Above
be better?
Iron Man 2. It's
Yeah, that's
above
what
Iron
I'm
Man
saying.
2, below Ant-Man.
That's what I'm saying.
What the
We should start it in the 13 area. Like,
Gotcha.
do we feel like it's better
Yeah.
than Ant-Man?
Oh my god.
I don't think so.
The tree outside looks like it's about to fall
Because I
down.
feel like Ant-Man commits to what it is super hard from beginning to end. And you know his character. He's amazing. They're like, the villain's fine, whatever. Not the best, not the worst.
No, the villain's very low on Ragu Bagu vids.
Exactly.
That's because you have King James Cross.
Let me be
Again,
clear.
you also put Star Wars villains on that. That list is stupid.
We needed to pad out
the
the
villain's
list.
at 31.
32 now.
But like, it goes back to what we keep saying. It's like, these are great movies still.
yeah.
I mean, personally, for me, if going off of what this dude, I would put it with a bullet at number 10.
Really?
At number
Yeah.
10.
So you knock Black
I would
Panther
leave
down to
Iron
11?
Man at number 9. I would put Captain Marvel at number 10, and then bump down Black Panther, Doctor Strange.
I had this at
Ant-Man.
number 11 underneath Black Panther. And Black Panther being that low, what a crime, but it's fine.
Yeah.
I never freeze.
Doctor Strange being
I-
that high is a crime.
I personally had it as number 12. Looking at this list, seeing where I think I'd rank it, where I think Doctor Strange I enjoyed a little bit more and was a little
Interesting.
better structured. And I really like Ant-Man and the Wasp, but
That's my thing is, this is what we were talking about earlier,
Yeah,
right? It's
this
not a
is
slight
really-
to any of the movies we're putting it around, right? I think that it's just how good MCU is. For me, you're right, Tim. Ant-Man is consistently Ant-Man throughout it. I just enjoyed this more. I thought this is a step above what Ant-Man is in terms of who Ant-Man is. Doctor Strange, I enjoyed it so much on second watching, right? We talked about that, and I still do. I just thought this was a more fun movie. I enjoyed how much fun this was. And then Black Panther sets up an amazing world, but again, I wasn't ever in, like, similar to Nick, I never thought the Black Panther himself was that great of a character.
Yeah.
Whereas, and I understand, I totally get it. Like, she comes together in the second and third acts, right? But I enjoyed the journey to that, and I did. And I, even though I would have liked to have seen, her get told, or not, I wouldn't have. I thought the way they abbreviated down of like, yep, she's a woman who's been pushed down her entire, or been told
Has
and been
fallen down.
locked out of the boys club and all this other shit her entire life. She's awesome. And then I thought her standing up after seeing all those moments was enough of me without words getting that.
I thought that was a really cool moment too.
It was definitely
I
cool.
think it did the message, and I do think that like her not seeming to have much of a character for the first, I'd say half of the movie, was totally on purpose, and it fits. Like, we got little hints of who the character was with her interactions with Jude Law and with everyone. Anytime she was talking to everyone, we knew that she was kind of like a snarky, like douchey kind of guy, like character.
I just feel like
And-
even in the second half, we don't see that. It's like we see that she used to be that, but I don't think in this movie we ever truly see it.
I feel like that all fits who what the person has gone through or what she has gone through, you know?
I think Nick really nailed it for me, and I didn't put this together, but it's like this movie does a lot of things where it's like we're supposed to put together in our heads because we've seen other movies, so it's like we're filling in the plot, we're filling in the like kind of morals and all that stuff, and like that to me is a problem because you were like, oh yeah, there was that one scene where she like was trying to like figure out her power, but it's like, but then she has it, and it's like. There's too much shit where I'm like, I get it, and it's like we got to speed this up. We don't need every movie to be the exact same copy and paste. But I feel like that just means that it's fine. It's a fine origin movie, but I think she's gonna be. When you look at all the ones above it, really, like even the top, let's say the top 8, it's like they're ensemble movies, and that's for a reason. Like we like seeing these characters interact with each other after they've been
Established.
cemented and established
Yeah.
as what they are. So I think that it's very clear what we're seeing here.
My thing. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say one more thing, and I think this to me pushes it higher. Is like every moment with the Skrulls I loved, like just even when they're introduced and they're just these guys that are stealing the memories. You have that fun interaction. That comedy I think moves it up where I'd be down to put it as number 10. I think.
See, I love the Skrulls too, and I'm totally with you. But like the Ant-Man's friends in both the Ant-Man movies, I think are funnier.
I went back and
are
watched.
in more.
I went back and watched on the plane for where the fuck I was coming last time, maybe Montana. The first like 20 minutes of Ant-Man and the Wasp, and it is hilarious and it is amazing and very well put together. So I'm like, it's hard for me to like. It's hard for me to like. The plane lifted off, and I was like, I don't have reception anymore. But like even those, I'm like, that movie is such a better paced and well established like world than this one. This one just felt very disjointed. So I don't know if I can put this above Ant-Man. To me, it's like it's either right above Ant-Man and the Wasp, or right below. But I don't think if I can put it above it. I don't think it's a better. Like Doctor Strange is a better movie. Start to finish, way more well put together, knows a lot more what it is, and I think it's a better origin story. This one is like a really disjointed movie to me.
All right, let's vote.
To the polls.
Let's start with, is it better than Iron Man 2? Raise your hand. We all raise our hands. Is it better than Ant-Man? Raise your hand.
Yeah, I'll say it's better.
Everyone except me raises their hand. Is it better than Ant-Man and the Wasp? Raise your hand. Kevin, Andy, and Greg raise their hand. Is it better than Doctor Strange? Raise your hand. Kevin does not raise his hand. Greg and Andy do. So the new ranking of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, is Avengers Infinity War, number 1. Number 2, Spider-Man Homecoming. Number 3, Captain America Civil War. Number 4, Thor Ragnarok. Number 5, Captain America the Winter Soldier. Number 6, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Number 7, Avengers. Number 8, Guardians of the Galaxy. Number 9, Iron Man. Number 10, Black Panther. Number 11, Doctor Strange. Number 12, Captain Marvel. Number 13, Ant-Man and the Wasp. Number 14, Ant-Man. Number 15, Iron Man 2. Number 16, Avengers Age of Ultron. Number 17, Captain America the First Avenger. Number 18, Iron Man 3. Number 19, The Incredible Hulk. Number 20, Thor. And number 21, Thor the Dark World.
Tim, you're
21.
talented. This is the most talented thing you've ever done.
Yeah, exactly.
It's shocking how
It's really hard. I fucked it up once.
It's your biggest
I'll
talent.
never forget.
That's a bad
Hey,
day.
I'll never
before we
forget.
switch gears, though, we should do something because I'm sure the Twitch chat's been all over it, and I'm sure YouTube comments would be as well. Kevin's wearing the Kind of Funny shirt in the Marvel Studios thing, which was a Patreon tier for January. A lot of people have written in saying, "Hey, where are the shirts?" And we're like, "Hey, remember we used a local distributor, it's another small business, so it took longer than going to Cafe Press. Plus, we had to wait till like February started. Long story short, we just got these in today. So
great.
I think
They're great quality.
Joey Noel has walled herself off in a room and is prepping to get things started and rolling, getting them mailing out. So they
She
are
literally has her own office now.
Yeah, I
She just
know.
made it. It's great.
interesting how that happens.
I mean, again, I've said this before. I said again, she's all of our bosses.
What are
Let's
you
just call a spade a
hinting
spade.
I'm just saying.
Anybody that wants their own office, they just have to set it up. I want it.
All right. a lot of people have been asking what the next in review franchise is going to be in between this and Endgame.
Yeah.
And wow, we now have the answer. Barrett, roll the clip.
Let's fucking go.
Let's
do it again.
go.
Do it again.
Why
Just
not?
They can't see it. They can just hear it.
Keep playing it.
I'm so excited for
I'm
you to watch
excited.
these movies.
Having never seen any of these movies, I've only heard good things from you guys. I'm fucking stoked.
I-
She is fucking stoked. I'm ready.
I'm so excited because I feel like this, like it was the community that pushed for this, and it's just like I was really hoping this is how it would go, and look at it, we're doing it.
This
now.
was not the plan. We had a
No,
plan
yeah, we
for the
changed
first
it.
half of the year, and then it was going to be just 2 different trilogies. But then so many people were like, you guys got to do Mission Impossible. And this
I
works
just
out
I
a
just
little
think you're
too
really gonna like
perfectly.
these. I think the Mission Impossible franchise is one of the rare instances where something's gotten better. And these are just like they're getting to the point where they're near perfect action movies. I think you're gonna dig them.
I can't fucking wait. Cameron Kennedy, best friend, made the intro. It's fantastic. He also did the
Spider-Verse.
Into the Spider-Verse intro, and it's super cool. He's so damn talented. The one thing to note is that Greg Miller will not be joining us for these 6 episodes. How we're gonna do this instead is it's gonna be the 4 of us. Barrett will be over there doing the Barrett stuff. He will be the final vote though, because we
Tie-breaking
need
vote.
the 5 votes for the consistency, because that's what the show needs is consistency in voting process.
This is where if we had done any planning, I had hand you a pager and say, when you need me, call me. But only in emergency. So imagine I did that, because that'd be fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, until next week.
Wait, do you want to talk about why I'm not doing it? Otherwise, you're gonna have a million comments. I don't like movies, so I don't want to watch these movies. Thank you.
That's it. Yeah.
You know how I'm always in the Fast and Furious, where I'm like, oh, then they fought. I didn't really like it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to watch 6
You don't
movies
like
of
action
that.
movies?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Greg Miller will return.
And whatever comes after that one. Do we know what that is?
Endgame.
Yeah, right.
Endgame, and then we'll figure out what's after that. I have
Well,
some
you
ideas.
figured it out, but you don't want to say it, actually.
Well, I mean, hey, who the hell knows? All
Yeah,
the plans
anything can
changed.
happen.
This was not the
Yeah.
plan.
Sure.
So, yeah. But until next time, I don't remember what
Have
we
a
said at the end.
marvelous
Thank
day.
you. That's what it
You're
was.
fucking doing it.
Kevin.